take it you're on Todd's TCM page. Is that correct?
How does it look here, George, on the screen?
Looks good. Looks good.
Oh, sorry, I got a George here. I got a George here behind the scenes as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh, looks good.
The only thing that I'm not seeing that I can't really get up there is the JPEG files that Joey sent up.
Okay.
I thought I could post some pictures on here.
Yeah.
But I can post the intro. I'm gonna go ahead and play the intro now, just so that way I know that that works without a problem.
Go ahead.
So let's see.
Looks like it's you that he wants. I'm not gonna let him kill you. You're no evil. You're no evil.
Where are they releasing this? Is this going in the theaters or is it
Separate.
in the theaters or Netflix?
Netflix last night.
Netflix.
All right. So it looks like we got that. Looks like we got that going well. So that looked good, right, guys?
Yeah.
Awesome. And let's go ahead and play the outro right now.
Thanks for joining us on TCM Talk. I hope you had a good time. As we mentioned, Martin Astles was the on-set makeup artist for the feature film. But a few weeks back, I had the honor of doing the Leatherface makeup for a promotional shoot. Check it out.
Does he have the mask in studio with him?
All right, guys. So we are here with the finished Leatherface. You look beautiful, sir. All right, everyone. So I had the honor of doing Leatherface makeup today. To be honest with you, he's not a bad guy. He hasn't killed anyone all day long. I feel like I'm fond with this. What do you think?
Look. Take your glasses off.
How's that look? Good?
Yeah, look good.
Oh, it's
Awesome.
stove.
Yeah, one of those heaters that we made
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
LED thing.
Wonder if it's ours.
Probably should have rolled another one.
All right.
That fired up.
I can't share this, bro. Look, this is what I got for 2 hours.
All right, guys. I'm gonna mute my mic for just a few minutes. I'm gonna chat with the guys on TikTok Live for just a little bit.
And you don't want us to know what you're talking about?
And promote the moment. Well, yeah.
Hey, I'm on TikTok too. You can promote me. Terror Talk NJ. I forgot what it was.
Terror Talk NJ. You
Yeah.
got it. You got it, Mike.
Take care.
All right, I'll be right back.
See you, mate. You want to go live on TikTok? You'd have to use your phone because mine's busy. This is the worst blunt. It's not hitting good. I can't. You got 2 of them.
I got one.
I got special weed because I don't want them to sleep. I'm gonna put this in. There it is. Yeah, none of these are stupid weed or anything like that. Off camera. Oh, God. Well, if everybody else is gonna fucking mute, I'm gonna mute. You don't get to hear me, bitches.
He's got the same kind of color beard going.
This is the first. You're really not trying to compare yourself to that dude. He's like chiseled and he's hot and he can pull any girl up he wants.
What was it?
He's hot.
I'm just saying, the beard. You just jump to conclusions.
I know. I just fuck with you. That's all my job is to fucking throw you off path and get you, let you come back.
I got a new wig that looks perfect.
Should we have Connor as
I have no idea what to say to this fucking guy.
Kidding.
Thank you.
Is there anybody on the thing yet?
If you have a list of questions, I'll ask them.
Good.
Big delay.
What?
It's not a leather, right?
There's a big delay.
Well, that's YouTube Live. That's not do this. They have to process it through their servers.
And did you get a message?
So this is the first time.
I told Todd.
This one's live too. This is the first time I actually see it on that, like what she really looks like.
Can you imagine the fucking chaos where she's at?
She's right here.
Are you going to use Daddy's camera?
Oh, she's with him?
She's right here.
Can you see the table in the shot?
No, you just see very bottom. You see like right here on it.
Okay.
Oh,
What is it?
Okay.
it's Sky, whatever it was,
Nope.
and Mac.
Yeah, kind of.
Keep that button short.
Ah,
Huh?
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good idea, Connie said on your Instagram to show you my line. I just posted pictures on this story, not that.
I think it's got to do it. There's water and soda.
I wonder if that thing lights up and make a noise.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Todd and Joey, if you guys haven't already, why don't you put the JPEG pictures that you sent over to me onto Todd's Instagram page, so that way at least people will be able to see it there.
Hey, George, Joey walked away, but I will let him know as soon as he gets back.
Okay, great.
Yeah. There's a chance Martin's a no-show. So if that's the case, I'm going to tighten up my shot a little bit and do this with Nat.
Hey, we got to do what you got to do, right? Yeah.
Hey, I've got everything I need, man. I got everything I need. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
Exactly.
I'm fine. Whatever. Roll these damn punches.
There you go. There you go.
Dad, you want to see this picture?
No, let me get this figured out real quick. Change that around.
And I'm going to use this moment to grab a bottle of water. So.
getting ready.
No, you don't have that. Taking the breath again. Okay, so clearly Martin isn't showing up. So I need to
Not showing up?
Nope. I'm not gonna call him. If he doesn't have enough responsibility to show up, then he can fuck off. So let's tighten up the shot. Yeah, right there. Chainsaw right in between us. I'm gonna put stuff on that chair so I can pull it and show people. And happy day, we're good to go. Adjustments, well done.
The camera setup looks great over there, so.
Where are you gonna keep that?
I guess, so we're gonna get out of the other chair.
Huh?
Where are you gonna keep that, right there?
Oh, you can't see it right now. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna bring it over the shot and show it.
Why am I acting like I'm the biggest star? Nobody.
Oh, Joe,
There.
so, Joe, I'm saying that
I know.
you should take those photos.
They just haven't caught up yet.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm looking at powder.
I did it already. I got my makeup on. Kidding me? I don't go on the air without makeup. No, touch. I got makeup on. For real. I put shit on before I go on the air. I'm good, thanks. Thanks. I don't tip. Condition my beard real nice. Go away. What is he doing? Fired. It's security removed him. So meanwhile, this isn't broadcasting yet. But I went on my YouTube live, so if anybody was coming right now, they're getting the whole behind the scenes, like whatever we're doing right now.
What?
Good.
It's too bad, there was some good stuff.
Well, because I didn't, mine's not supposed to be on until 8. There was a separate link for them, this one at 7, which is, you'd see just this. But maybe you want to watch me, because I can also make my own comments to my people without them really, like.
Why not?
Like if they're talking, I can mute.
Well, here, it's gonna tell me how many people watch right here.
That's on my YouTube. There's also people watching on these Streamlink things or.
So the guy Mark was wearing like a plastic face shield thing, and then it had like Velcro attachments to it, and there was a strap around the back of the head. So it didn't actually stick to the I guess. Honey, babe.
Okay, Joey.
Yeah.
Okay. Reframe it.
I knew he would show up.
That's good, man.
That's it. Yeah.
Martin's here. All right.
Looks better. I lowered the lighting a little bit.
Good.
Okay, I'm just. I should have brought my fucking. All my stuff I could have rolled while I was doing.
You didn't bring the survival kit?
No, I don't need it anymore.
Well, so you need it
I
now?
actually, no, okay, so here's the point. I was thinking about this today. When I was broken, I needed it all day to survive. Now, if I wake up and I start smoking, it immediately just brings me like, ugh, and I don't like have the motivation to do anything. I don't need it anymore, so I don't like. it's fun, like something like this, like I'm not doing anything. It's like, you know, I could get a little stupid.
Okay, now
But
you're on the side, right here.
You got ready to start? Do you have time to go to the bathroom? Be careful, be careful.
No, we're.
I-
Hello, sir.
How long do you want? How long?
Martin, you right here.
Joey, how long?
What?
How long much on? Okay.
Okay.
oh yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm a little drunk.
That doesn't even.
Astles. Astle?
Yeah.
Why did it get
Astles.
blurry all of a
Good,
sudden?
I'm okay with the S. For sure.
There you are.
There it goes.
It looks great. How do you, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect. You're all good.
Is Mike on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you just, yeah, Mike's here.
Mike's here.
Jackie? Jackie, what?
I'm just muted so you people don't hear what I'm talking about.
So, I got you. What's up?
So I just did a little live blitz on TikTok Live, just kind of hoping to drum up some more viewers over here. So hopefully that would work.
Cool.
So,
Congratulations.
kept on telling everyone, just go to YouTube, type in TCM Talk, and that will take them right over to the screen, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I am very excited about this.
Cool.
That's all that's.
Do you like it?
Guess what? I saw this morning. It was a good morning watch.
It's made a lot of people mad.
I don't care.
Well,
I'll tell you why they
It did?
mad, in my opinion, they can tell me I suck.
hey, you know what? It's the truth that would have happened. Like in the bus scene, that would have 100%. They would have 100%.
I thought, I was so happy with the way they. I totally, completely was fine with him killing everyone. He had complete justice. I could be this lawyer. I can tell you why he should get off and not be charged with anything.
It looks like we've already got some people, popping in and saying hello, so that's great.
Hey, George, get George out of the room.
Yeah,
Hey, George, so here's what I'd like to do. So, as soon as it hits 4 o'clock, go ahead and do the intro, and then as soon as the intro ends, then you're gonna go, hey, everyone, we're here today, blah, blah, blah. I'm here with Clyde Tucker and Martin Astles, and just open the
Got
show
it.
up, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Got it.
Y'all good with that, George?
so, once the intro stops and everything, just go ahead and, Natalie, you're gonna start talking?
Natalie's gonna start talking, and then, right around, 4:40 or 4:58, just before it hits 5 o'clock, let's, somebody let me know, so we, or just, let me know that we're
See
close
how
or
nice it
whatever,
is to
and
have
so we
somebody
can
that
be
does
off.
it all for you instead of, and then
Here's
she
what
can
I
just
can-
come sit on the
what I
chair.
can also
I
do.
like that.
Yeah,
Guys, what I can also do is I can switch it over
Fuck.
to solo layout, so that way you guys are the only ones on the screen
okay.
for the first period, and then I can, let me try a little something here real quick. Hold on.
Joe, you need
I have no idea what that is.
All right, so you guys are on solo layout right now. Can you still hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Perfect. All right, so we'll keep it like this then for the first hour, and then I'll be able to chime in as needed with
Cool.
with any sort of questions or anything like that pop up on the comments. Okay.
And that works perfect because you can see it on there, right? You can see it enough to know, just hear the voices.
You can see them.
All right, cool.
Saturday.
I'm happy.
I watched
Can I
you.
get
Pretty clear.
Yeah, I'm
can I
happy.
get a quick mic check from all three of you?
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Hello, how is everybody doing today?
Perfect.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Mast.
Can you hear Martin okay?
I can hear you guys just fine. Just be nice and nice and energetic and everything. This is going to be a lot of fun. I am just so excited that we have the opportunity to do this, and yeah, this is going to be a blast.
Once I hear that intro and that's done, I go on.
Yep.
That's correct.
Yeah, and not only that, but once the intro starts, everyone's mics get muted.
Yep, got it.
So we won't have to worry about any sort of background noise or anything like that.
Right.
And George, they can't see us, right? They're just hearing us?
Correct.
Right.
Gotcha.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
For now, and then once the first hour is done, then we'll do that other layout, so that way they'll be able to see us on the side.
Oh, okay,
while
cool.
they're-
No, I meant the guys in the studio, not the watchers.
Oh yeah. No, they can't see us.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is actually.
All right, guys, get ready. We got 10 seconds.
Oh, shoot.
The world is watching. Kind of.
At some point.
3, 2, 1.
This is Terror Talk with Michael B. I'm your host, Michael B. Take a look at this.
Looks like it's you that he wants. I'm not gonna let him kill you. Fear no evil. Fear no evil.
Hello, everyone, and I am so excited to be here at Todd Tucker's Illusion Industries. It's very exciting. We are going to be celebrating Leatherface 2022. This is TCM Talk. It is on Netflix, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and today is everything about Leatherface 2022. We are here with the creators, Todd Tucker and Martin
So we're gonna
Astles,
watch
and
this for
Todd
the
Tucker is
first
the owner
hour,
and founder of
and
Illusion
then
Industries.
we'll have an
And
exclusive with them
Martin
when
is
that
the
goes. So you guys can either
artist,
watch it
designer,
on
and
their channel
creator
or
of Leatherface.
you can just watch it here.
What's that?
I make tea as well.
Oh, you make, and he's the tea maker as well,
Yeah.
apparently, yeah.
He makes great
I
tea.
want you
Does
to
he?
say something.
Well, he's,
Doesn't
you
He's
know,
English.
that's it. So black tea, I'm assuming.
It is black tea, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the key artist, designer, and all over guy for Leatherface 2022. And Todd, this is your studio. We're
Right.
here, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
How are you?
We're great. We are so excited. The movie came out yesterday. We're going to be answering some questions today. So if you haven't seen the movie, you're going to get a lot of spoilers. So I would suggest that you should have already seen the movie if you're a fan.
That's it.
Very excited about the film. I watched it last night with my family and
Good.
a family event.
A very nice family
Right, right.
friendly. I'm looking
And,
over at Todd's way.
I was so pleased with it. It was funny when we got the show. Actually, we had worked with a producer named Kurt Gaines, and he was at Legendary Films, and he gave me a call and he said, "Hey, I need you to help us on this lower budget project that we're doing." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "I need you to come up with the lead character." And I wasn't, I said, "Okay, sure, that sounds great. What is it?" And he goes, "It's Leatherface." And I started laughing, and he goes, "What the hell are you laughing at?" And then I go, "You're serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, are you gonna do it or what?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So then I came back and knocked on Martin's office door, and I said, "Martin, I just got the most interesting phone call." And I said, "Guess who I just talked to and what they're asking us to make?" And I don't know. And I said, "We're gonna make Leatherface." And he started laughing the same way I did.
Right.
And I go, "No, I'm dead serious." And I had no idea. Now I'm going to throw you props right now. I had no idea that I know Martin is a totally knows so much about movies and horror and everything.
That's
I
what he
had
said.
no idea that Martin potentially might be.
It means loser.
No.
No.
Knows more about Texas Chainsaw and Leatherface than anyone I have ever met in my career and in my life. So when we started getting into this, Martin started just telling me all this stuff about Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw that I don't even think most fans know.
Right.
I don't even know how you know. But ultimately, he has this knowledge of it. So it was really great because Martin sculpted and designed the look.
Right.
And when we took the sculpture into the studios, we got the job, and literally 2 weeks after we got the job, the world shut down for COVID.
Yeah, that's what you had said. And I was like, I wondered what that experience was like. But let's go back to this for
Yeah.
a second. With Martin knowing so much about the character, I mean, it's kind of like fate, you know?
Oh yeah.
Right?
I had no idea actually that you were that overly knowledgeable about Leatherface.
Well, I mean, I know some stuff, yeah, not as much as some people.
Oh,
but-
really?
Well,
Well, let's be honest. I'll be honest with you. He's being actually very humble. When he got on set, Martin did become a very much a go-to guy
Yeah.
for things and knowledge and
Of course.
everything Leatherface. So it was great that they had Martin on set because Martin was able to give all that backstory and history to just help give that essence of the character.
Yes. And so tell us about so you get the job, and then 2 weeks into it, the world shuts down. And what do you guys do?
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Like we just lost Leatherface.
What?
And I was like, oh my god. And then Kurt called me. And he
Did you
goes,
get that on camera?
yeah, screw this pandemic. We're doing this thing. Are you on board? And I'm like, yes, we're on board. So So then Martin and I sat down and we were like, how are we going to get a crew in here? Because literally everything had shut down. No one would even leave their house. They were scared to death to leave their house. We're like, how are we going to do this? So we just started reaching out to people. And, you know, I will say this, and
So guys, while this is going on, I have George over here on the chat. If you have any questions you want us to ask, anything you want to know, just go ahead and start chatting, and he'll answer. He'll tell me, I'll ask online. We'll get you an answer.
Yeah, with like the requirements, I mean, with safety.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just.
No, everyone was scared to death.
Nobody knew what was going on at the time.
It was brand new.
That's true.
Yeah, no one knew
That's true.
what
That's right.
protocols were.
Right.
How to pay for the shop, so it was all bravely well at that point.
And the entire design phase happened on this new thing called Zoom,
Oh, wow.
which we had never used before.
Oh,
So everything, that was interesting too, because
Yeah.
as we were designing stuff, Martin was designing the face. We had Miles Tevis, who's another amazing artist. Awesome. Miles did 2D designs of
That's anybody that's
Leatherface
gonna watch
under
for
the
me
mask,
is
so we
come
could
on.
start coming up with what that look was, straight makeup look. And then we had another guy named
Wardrobe too.
And well, that was John Donahue too.
Oh, sure.
John Donahue came in. He was another one of our great artists. And he did some 2D drawings of the wardrobe and the physical look of what Leatherface's body would be. So, but we did it all remotely, and oddly enough, it worked out great. There were very few hiccups on this show.
True.
Comparably,
It was a bit of a headache.
it was hard, but I mean, comparably to what we were up against.
Yeah, because it's easy to work with a lot of artists.
No,
based
the second
on this,
hour.
you know. So the Zoom thing, Todd's right, it did work out okay in the end, but it was the translation gets lost a little bit when it's talking to somebody over a camera a little bit. You know, when people are together, it's easier just to sort of jam and talk things through. But when you're trying to describe an apron or a ripped face to somebody, I think sometimes it gets a little tricky.
Well, I think about it, and I think about how that would be, you know, in this new world, and you guys are like 2 weeks into it of not knowing at all this kind of new world.
Yeah.
And so you guys basically got a crash course in it. Probably this will serve you well if anything should happen again. I mean, you'll have a crash course in it and know how to do it.
We had
You know?
a creative team.
Seriously.
Yeah, we had a creative team working here, probably 10 to 12 people,
About that, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No one got sick.
Oh, I did draw from the
We
blank.
spread everyone out, did it really well. Everyone wore masks, everyone was good. No one got sick. And also when Martin went on set in Bulgaria,
Got him
to
smoking.
put makeup on, no one got sick on set either.
No, that's actually, producers did an amazing job on that. Because again, I think we were only one of maybe 3 shows shooting in Europe, I believe.
Right. Everything was shut down.
Yeah, and nobody knew how to behave on set. You know, it was such a crazy time, especially for makeup too, because obviously we're touching the actors and dealing directly with the actors.
Right.
So
hands-on breathing, everything.
Yeah, so like it was full face masks initially, and sterilization of makeup stations every day. You know, and for the first couple of weeks, it was using like one set of brushes, and by the end of the day, you throw them out, start with a new palette. You know, you couldn't reuse things.
Right.
So
You still can't.
you still can't.
No, you still can't. On set,
No.
you have to, every brush can't be
The
used for different
protocols for the
actors.
sets now are
Yeah.
just over the top.
Sterilization.
They, it's just over the top, but that's what I mean. You guys really got a crash course in this, and
It was,
2 weeks into it, it's kind of a story within a story, really.
yeah, it was
So,
tough.
yeah.
We were able to actually go to a few of the first meetings at Legendary,
Anything you say,
which was right down the
listen
street,
to, so
luckily.
just, and then
And
go back and
the
watch.
very first thing that we did was that Martin sculpted, we grabbed a head cast and Martin sculpted a design of what the Leatherface would look like. And I remember
tell
when
my
Martin showed it
staff
to
now.
me, it was interesting. It
Talk
was
about
interesting because
as
he
we're
had a really
recording.
sad, somber face. And we both went, you know what, they're gonna fight us on this. Because they're gonna want it to be more scary. And sure as hell, they saw it and they're like, they were confused by it. But the reality is, with Martin putting that sad look on the
Wait
face,
until hour 2, it's question eight.
it gave him emotion. And it
Yeah.
gave him, you can go anywhere from there. If he was already
just tell
too
me.
scary, there's nowhere for him to go
Also,
visually, you
Well, the
know.
horror comes in what it does. I mean, this is just my personal
We have
feeling,
a-
but like, read the script,
we have a
and the
code.
horror is in the action. Yeah, the face,
So if
to
I'm-
me, like reading the script,
if I
it had a
start
sense
asking
of
something
tragedy
that's
to
not
it.
allowed.
Like the face is a-
I was like, grab your
especially in
ear.
that one,
And she's like,
there's
no, I'm just gonna make a
one
noise.
scene,
So
and
she-
no
we're
spoiler
talking,
alerts,
if
but
I'm
that one
talking and she
scene
goes,
where he's really
I gotta
embracing
stop what I'm
the
asking.
somebody around him has, passed.
Yeah.
And
She came up
that really was a
You gotta
pretty
do that.
emotional scene with Leatherface.
Yeah,
So
no, I thought,
for those of you who haven't seen it, I won't spoil it 100%.
oh, you know what, it's gonna
Oh,
get
I'm gonna
spoiled.
spoil it.
I promise.
Yeah, don't worry, we're gonna
There-
spoil it.
I think
If you didn't
I
watch it, don't be, you should come back and watch this later.
My favorite thing about the movie is that I literally, they showed you a side of Leatherface that I haven't seen before, where you saw the humanized version of why. And the reality is, in the story, he's been living at this orphanage with a group of people and hasn't done anything wrong. He's been there for years, quietly just living among them. And it wasn't until, people showed
Well,
up
pretty good
and
though.
mom got
What?
killed.
Well,
Right.
good.
I kind of
Except
understand
it's
where he was going. I could
too,
be his lawyer
soft here.
in a court case and
Use
almost
paper,
get
use
him off.
regular thing.
Even though you use paper, you didn't wrap it tight enough. Make sure when you get to the tip,
It
you're
was
like
a
a
moment.
diaper,
It
like
was a
twisted
moment
under
in
there
the
really
film.
good.
It
So-
really was
so
good.
Todd
I feel like
said
it's gonna
was,
fall apart.
the mother was
These are
killed.
good tips I'm giving you.
And
Lauren.
I'm
Texas
sorry,
Chainsaw
guys,
Massacre,
spoiler alert.
guys.
It's out. It's out,
Yeah,
guys.
it's
It's
out,
out.
and it's out on Netflix right now. It is trending number 3, and it's going to continue going up. I'm sure of it. And so yes, his mother gets killed, and this is where that very emotional moment comes in for him, for Leatherface. And and so go on with that, Mark.
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, like there was some design approaches we took, because initially, like the two initial directors on it, had a certain vision for it, which obviously they were swapped out at a certain point.
How am I
But,
just realizing now that
we
this guy
tried
has
to
an
come up with
Australian
something that was
accent?
a little bit.
No,
Just now.
The hard thing with it, there is a certain amount of stress on this, and I certainly feel like there
Excuse
is a
me.
few sleepless nights involved, because you're reinventing a character to a certain degree that people love,
Yes.
and there is
do.
a certain amount of pressure and stress on that,
Hmm?
and
no, it's Australian.
I took it to heart. I mean, it's hard to do those things without. You're always worried you're going to upset
Yeah.
the fans. Like I don't.
Right there. You're not.
You want to bring
that's
something
Australian.
new to the table, but you don't want to necessarily
Some shrimp on the board.
do the same thing again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a continuation, right? I mean, it's 50 years
First
later.
New Zealand.
First question when we get on
can't-
the next hour
He's
is
not the
going to
same
be,
guy.
can you say put some shrimp on the bar?
Yes.
I will.
Absolutely.
We had to try to extrapolate
Taking
from the
back
story
the
to what would make sense for this new man. I mean, he's been in hiding for years. I mean, he's undergone some changes.
Right.
And by the way, to add to that, they told us when the movie started, the first movie is the only thing that exists. Erase everything after that.
Mhm.
We are literally taking place as if this story continued from the first movie only. So that was our, we knew that going into it. And I'm going to show you this right. This is kind of similar, not exact, but this is kind of similar to what Martin Sculpin that we ended up taking in.
Yeah, we get some. This is where we get the behind the scenes and the secrets
Yeah.
behind Leatherface.
So we took a generic head cast, but Martin had sculpted a face on the head cast that looked pretty similar to this. Almost exact, huh?
Yeah, except he had hair.
Guys gonna auction that off?
But we took that off later
Do a,
today. But
do a
pretty
raffle?
much that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And except for the display, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
I did do a madder version though. There was a version where he pulls his face into an expression
Right.
and he pins it with.
Remember the
Sunny
guy he
Hills.
opened Graveyard
So
Gallery
it was much more
in
sort of
Butler?
an aggressive look.
He came to the
But
shop a
didn't
couple
really
times. I was gonna get a couple big pieces from him, and his warehouse got flooded and whatever. So I still talk to him.
Right.
It looked a bit
I
sort
had
of
remembered
effective.
seeing a
kind of
while
distracting.
ago that he had posted a
like
Leatherface.
the elements that made your eye kind of go to it.
Just-
I went back to his Instagram,
It's just,
and
at
he
the
made
time,
one.
it was
It's like that bust you just saw, but it's
kind of a neat
like all
look,
latex.
but
It's like,
too-
like realistic.
Which is too much.
So I
So,
messaged him to see if I could
decided
get
to
it
put
to,
more
bring to the
of
show,
a
but
solid
he's got some
form
family sickness
kind of
in
look on the face
North
of it.
Carolina or
Right.
something like that.
And just look, as I say,
And I was gonna show the picture, but
But it played
they don't have a way to
the
upload
scenes
the
where
pictures here.
he's
So.
Well,
when he's in there smelling mom's clothes after she's dead,
Right.
and he's looking.
that was a really impactful
It
scene.
was great. I mean, having him being able to have that sorrow look.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, with Michael Myers, it was a face of complete blank, right? But
Right.
that
was-
blank
that's
worked
yeah.
so well because you read into that, and the horror came from the character. I loved it when I saw this because I was like, yeah, that sad look is going to be great. And like, when we showed it to the studio guys, they were like, are you sure? And we were like, please trust us on this one.
Right. Well, I mean,
So-
I think it also leads, like, with Martin saying, you're saying, I think it also leads into the fact that when these crazy kill scenes come in, like Alvarez really went over the top with these kill scenes.
Yeah.
Like, but the two things that they're talking about in this movie is Leatherface and the kill scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that must make you guys feel awesome.
Yeah.
Because, I'm like, Leatherface 2022 is a hit, meaning this character is a hit. So, that's notably what's being talked about. And these kill scenes, because I
Sure,
just,
yeah.
it was a very easy Saturday morning watch for me. You're watching this movie this morning, and I'm like, was on the edge the entire time. I'm like, God, it's like early morning Saturday, just an early read,
Right.
and but like the bus scene when he's in there with the bus scene,
Awesome.
awesome. But that kind of that little sorrowful face, but what a kind of an abstract I brought the irony of that,
Right.
kind of that kind of sci-fi, which
Exposition
is
of images.
crazy
Yeah,
kill.
totally.
Yeah,
Like, you've got that. Well, the thing is, like, I have to give props to Fede for all that. Do you know what I mean? And I think even David corrects it a bit, like, no matter how much blood you would use, you'd have to put more on top of that.
He did say that.
Yeah,
He said, Fede was like,
Told you I
no,
enjoyed it more when I'm home.
if you have
Little movie,
blood,
like
just
half
give me
asleep.
more blood.
That's right,
Right?
pretty much. Yeah, if you think you got enough, just add more. And that was
Yeah.
exactly the right thing to do. So, but of course, the downside of that is like it becomes a swimming pool of blood. So if you're stuck in the middle of it,
What?
slips lining all over the place. I mean, it was pretty dangerous, I can tell you, especially on that bus.
And blood continuity on this movie was probably one of the biggest nightmares.
Twist
right?
one.
That's
Right.
tough. Blood continuity is
That's
hard.
nice.
But also too, I want to, before we go too far, I want to give props to Mark Burnham who
Yeah,
played.
sure.
So Mark came in. This is his head cast right here. Mark came in. We did
Oh, look
a
at
head cast on him, and he was great. And you got to give him props. He killed it. And he literally killed it as Leatherface.
That's right.
And it was cool because they do show him as himself, briefly throughout moments. So it was important that his look also. So I want to show also too, George, if you can pull it up. There was a design that we did that Miles Tevis did of what Mark would look like underneath the mask, and then there's also a picture, if you can show it, of what the final look for Mark was. And
That's actually going to be available on your Instagram page.
copy that. It's on our Instagram right now if you want to see those images. But it was important to also come up with his look for the underneath before we did the mask. So, and Mark,
Did you see that
We did 5 or
high-tech
6
action going on there?
ranging from
Pull that image up. It's on the Instagram.
just we wanted to play around with that a little
This is
bit.
high
more,
budget.
But it was also going to be very obscured shots. You're never really going to see him, full on. We do see him full on, but not sort of like fully lit. And,
Right.
he was all very shadowy and sort of
Obscured.
mysterious, yeah. But I do have to agree with Todd. I've got to give Mark huge props for this. He worked so hard to sort of nail that original feel of Gunner. He wanted to bring that back into the character.
Question. Got it.
he's
Yeah.
Gunner, and there was some body language that he got from Gunner. And
Mark really worked 7 days a week on this, 24 hours a day. He was always like
That's not us, guys. That's them.
researching that role and bringing, something a
it's
little,
coming back.
not newer to it, but sort of just making that character a little older.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he worked very hard.
Yeah,
You
right
guys
out
will
of
be
the
able to go
gate,
back
it
and
seems
watch
to me
this
that
on
right out of the gate,
TCM
just
Talks.
and then
It's on our
the
YouTube
movie,
channel.
the feature film.
That's
is
where it's
8
on
minutes
right
long.
now.
Yes.
So it's
that's what you're
fast,
seeing
so it's
here.
fast, and it's
Yeah.
and
If
it's
you miss
fast,
anything,
and
you
it
can always go
kills,
back
and
and watch it.
that's
Yeah.
why you're exhausted, right? You're exhausted. You're like, oh my
I don't know.
God.
I was left wanting more
Yeah,
actually
and I-
because it ends pretty fast. Like whoa.
Yeah, but I think that's notable that it was 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And
I-
obviously done by design.
I always feel like if you leave the audience wanting more, you're better off.
Yeah.
Because for me, like a 3-4 hour movie
Yeah.
with 6 endings,
Yeah.
I can't sit through that. I think like short and sweet.
It was hard, fast, like a freaking Ferrari.
Yeah. Now, I know we have some questions from some of our guys that are on
Yeah,
on
we
waiting.
want to make sure that we take a break right now to answer any questions from our media or any questions from our attendees here. So we want to say hi to you guys and any questions?
Hi, yes, we do have some questions coming in. This is George, by the way. We are seeing quite a few questions coming in, and the first one that we got over here is from Joey Titman, who is asking, so why a Poulan 306A instead of the 245A?
What?
Is that the chainsaw number?
Oh, they're looking at the.
Oh.
That's not the correct chainsaw.
No, this is. Yeah.
I was
well
like,
spotted.
I was
Wow.
like, oh,
So
come
this
on.
viewer wants to
Well
know
played, Joey, well played.
what model
This
of
is one that I
chainsaw.
actually was
It's a
given
Puma.
by somebody.
You guys are
recently,
intense.
And so
That's the
it's
best
not
question.
exact duplicate. It's the same color and the same model, but there's some modifications
No,
that
it's
are.
not the same chainsaw.
It's not even the same.
No, a fan can know.
Oh,
That was uncomfortable silence.
it was used though as a stunt chainsaw. So
But the chainsaw from the original movie is in this film. I mean, it is the one that's
Right.
used. So I mean, you know,
The original chainsaw from the film is the one they used
one
for
of
the
the
film.
yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and we actually had it here at the studio a couple weeks
Did,
ago
yeah.
for a shoot. So
And we didn't play around with it at all.
no, at all.
Yeah, not at all. Nothing. No,
Nope.
you guys wouldn't do that.
So I would never do anything like that.
We
All
also
right.
have quite a few comments coming. We also have quite a few comments coming in. We have CJ Schweigert saying this movie was gnarly, loved it.
Awesome.
We have Hermit Sal saying outstanding, and we got some hearts coming from Sally the zombie cheerleader. So it's always good to see. We have Glenn Shirley saying hello. We have also Hermit Sal is asking how long did it take to film?
Well, you know, actual photography was about, the principal shoot was about 6.5 weeks, if I recall. And then we did pickups for about a month, for about 4 weeks in May. In May. So, you know, altogether it was about 10 weeks.
And they built an entire city. That whole city that you see in the film was built for this movie over in Bulgaria.
Yeah, again, I've got to give props to Michael Perry for that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that
It looks awesome.
That set was amazing. And
Looks awesome.
The construction guys in Bulgaria were incredible. It really was like walking into a small rural town in Texas. I mean, they,
Interesting.
yeah, a lot of, so much minute detail in that set that, you know, I haven't seen the film yet, so
Oh, so you're,
Yeah,
so
so
you're getting us.
No, I have.
I haven't had a chance
now.
to see it yet.
I have.
But, you know, I lived it, so
Yeah.
it's all good. But, like, there was so much
You
money.
saw the film.
Yeah, I did. But there's so much tiny detail in that set that I you know, I don't even know how much of it you pick up in the film,
Yeah.
but Michael did a great job on that. Yeah.
That's a really good point. And because it is so hard hitting and punches and gnarly, it is. It's gnarly. And,
Yeah.
you know, there's, you know, going to be that, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch this over and over again just
Yeah.
because there's a lot that you're going to miss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, that's kind of an
Yeah.
interesting little
Yeah.
little nugget.
There's loads of little Easter eggs in that film. People have spotted it already, but, you know,
From
it
the
was,
original.
well, no, but things like, you know, registration plates, the population of the town. There's all sorts of
okay.
Easter eggs hidden throughout the film, so people have been
Oh,
very
nice.
You got to kind of watch
So
it a few times to
yeah.
find the Easter eggs.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
all right.
so yeah, so what Mark is saying is there's quite a few Easter eggs.
Yes, what they just
That's
told
great.
us is if you
George,
watch the
what else you
film,
got
there's a
out
bunch of
there?
little Easter eggs,
We have a
vehicle
little something from
registration,
Horrorfest
signs
saying,
on the buildings.
since you guys were talking about how
You guys wanna check
gnarly
that out.
everything was, he said the look of the mask was perfect, pure nightmare fuel, and it's been over a decade since Leatherface has been this scary. So that's always a great thing to see.
Nice.
Talk
And
about this
we-
mask right here,
Hey,
right?
look there, they got the
There you
mask.
go. There you
There
go.
we are.
Yeah.
That's your boy right there.
Jackie Blood also chimes in saying, in my opinion, he was a hero avenging his foster mother and her rights.
I agree with that 100%.
We love Jackie.
I totally agree. You know, that's what made this movie for me was that I looked at Leatherface a whole nother way this time. It was great.
And Horrorfest also chimes in saying, so much expression came through the mask. It was so effective and the most expressive mask of the franchise. We could finally see the humanity in his eyes. I don't think it has been done that well since the original. So that's a huge compliment
Yeah,
right there.
I mean, really, yeah, and you know, and like at the end, no, I won't spoil alert the end, but you know, the end's the end. But it's like every one of these
The
iconic
end
characters,
is
does he
totally
ever go
drowned,
away?
and
Not really.
Hopefully not.
No,
It just
no,
appears
not.
they don't ever go away. But anyway, but you can
he
really
was
see-
shot like
you can
10
really
times,
see the
drowned,
emotion
let
in
out
his
that
eyes
final breath.
in-
But
in one of these end scenes,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
so, and throughout, really.
But I think David too was like, you know, was very keen on doing a lot of close-ups too. 'Cause I don't know how many close-ups you see in the original films. I mean, there's some, but they were quite macro in some of these shots. You know, they got really, really close to his eye, and I think David was really keen on because you know, Leatherface is a complete, you know, freight train in this film. You know,
Right.
but there's still like little moments there where you got to put a little bit of humanity into that character. And I know there are certain beats that David was trying to get to at least show this is a human being. You can't forget that this is a man who does terrible things, you know. I mean, you know, he's running around with a chainsaw cutting people up.
Right.
But at the
There's
same,
that.
but at the same,
Yeah.
but at the same
There's that.
Yeah, but
so these two guys were responsible for the character.
you know, so I mean,
All the everything
I
you see,
was
they
rooting
invented
for
it. They
all
made up the
the
guy.
time.
That's
And I
what
don't know
they
if
were
it's just
saying.
because, you know,
So these
made
guys
him, but
invented the
ultimately,
new because it's not the
the way
same
they
as the
set
other
him
one.
up,
So they took the old character and they
felt
made it
for him
new.
so much.
That's
for,
what they did.
at least for me, I was like, yeah.
No,
these
that's
people,
they're
you know, maybe
they
he
came
was
to
a
these
little
guys
too
and said,
far, you
"You're
know,
in charge of
maybe-
Leatherface." That's how we
Maybe,
started the
but you know, he was
interview.
justified. Mom was taken away, and that was the last bit of sanity, string
No,
of
to
sanity
Illusion,
left in him.
Industries
got
is the
that. You got
studio.
that. And
Yes.
David did a great job
Yes,
as
and what
part of it.
character?
I mean, that film is
Hmm.
beautiful. If you stop each frame of that movie, I mean, it's like, it's a picture. It's a really beautifully made film.
Right.
Um,
I agree.
Yeah,
It's
with
really
like
cool.
Diaz and the DPs. I mean,
I don't
some
think
of
that's
those
done
shots, honestly, even on set, they were like paintings, the way everything was lit. It's often, you know, in the monitors, things can shift a little bit.
And then you'll hear that one.
But I don't think there was a single time I ever walked on that set
Exactly.
where it just didn't look like a painting, like a John Constable painting. And again, those guys worked so laboriously hard. I mean,
So as you guys know,
both
I
Rick
would
and
normally
David, like 7
be
days
the
a
one
week in
to
the
give them a
hotel,
hard time.
constantly making notes,
Again,
constantly
this is their
storyboarding.
promotion.
That's the-
I was
constantly
invited
coming
here
up
as a
with ideas.
guest,
I mean,
so I'm going to keep my questions
I
nice.
always say this, and you always hear this, people always say, oh, you know, I loved everybody in this film. But the truth
I
about it
have
is
a
there's
behind the
some
scenes
jackass on the film.
evil entity here
But
trying to throw some
This
horrible
film,
questions
I'm
my
telling
way.
you, every single person was
Oh,
absolutely
questions.
pulling in the same direction to make the best film they could.
Mhm.
I've never been on a
Board.
set where, whether it was like
Don't make me turn your mic
props,
off.
wardrobe, DP, everybody was talking, everybody was collaborating, everybody was trying to put the best film forward that they could. And I don't, even when I came back and I said to you, look, I've never been on a set where I had such a positive experience.
Was that out of the gate with the pandemic? I mean, how far was that into the pandemic?
Oh, that was,
Well, we
were
a few months, yeah.
Well, you didn't go on,
You know, there was a
you
lot
didn't
of
go on set until about 6 months after, right?
About 6 months, yeah.
Because we started, we
Yeah.
got about a 3-month build time for everything.
Buy one of those.
Yeah.
And then we got everything, and Martin took a lot of the stuff
Oh, I'm
with
trying
him
to
because
listen to
shipping
this. Hold on.
at that time was
It was wacky.
almost
Yeah.
impossible. So, but yeah, it was about 6 months before
Yeah.
we went. So it was at the height of all of
If you
this.
think about it, because a lot of people pulled together.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
people went the opposite way.
Closed the
or
doors
they-
and went inside,
yeah,
or they were
pulled together, right?
Yeah.
They were, maybe that's why, just an observation, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George, did you have more questions? I want to make sure everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. We got another one from CJ Schweigert asking, any stories from the Richter kill scene?
Has to take a sip of water for this one.
Yeah, so that was I have again. I'm going to give more props to Chris Ricco, who was the head of VFX on that. That was a hybrid between a dummy and basically a scan of Mo Dunford's
Yeah,
face
just download an app
on
on
top
your
of the
Just
dummy.
literally
But
Google burner.
that I have to be honest with you, it surprised me on the day because I thought it was going to be like one impact with the hammer, but it was just one after another. Yeah, and that was an intense set to be on at that point because
Do you have a Gmail address?
it was one of
We
those
already
moments
have a
where
Gmail
everybody
account.
just went quiet on set. You know, nobody really
Just
knew
go to
what to
Google
say. I mean,
Voice.
it was pretty brutal,
You
obviously.
can pick a
you know?
phone number.
Right.
But again, you know, it's one thing to read it on
Go
a
to my
screen,
Google
it's another thing to
account.
actually witness that happen, even on a dummy.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful
Yes.
moment.
It's a
and-
weird
Google,
vibe when you're on set. You
yeah.
see it
Google
happen, 'cause
Voice.
it kind of feels real.
And I'll be honest, it's one of those things.
And then
that
log
you
in
just
with
sit
whatever your
there and
Gmail is.
Right.
because it was that brutal. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was happy to see that it did, but again, Chris Rickman did a great job on that. I mean, he's a
Install now,
master of
second
regards,
phone
but,
number.
that was a great gag. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, notably,
ad.
again,
Do I want to do it off an ad?
they're talking about the kill scenes. The
Yeah.
fans are going crazy over the kill scenes. So,
Yeah.
so some of these things that might not have made it in before are just making it.
They made it in this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to do, because we had a great team on this, and we couldn't have pulled this off, especially during the time we did without these guys coming in. So I just want to real quickly give credits to my guys that came
talk to
in.
us about the team.
So we had Doug Brown, we had Melanie Eckner, we had Daniel Crawley, we had Chris Gallagher. Chris Gallagher's a longtime friend of ours, did all the teeth. We had Maya Aoki.
Yeah.
That's right. Dalton Kutch, Richard Mayberry, Christine Mansfield, John Donahue, and Miles Tevis, and every one of those guys and gals just knocked it out of the park for
They
us.
did. They worked overtime for us.
Hair pieces, teeth, silicone runs. I mean, it was, and we did a lot of runs because we knew that when Martin got there, not only was he going to have to do, Mark's makeup, but there was going to be stunts also. So we had to have enough for stunts and guys in stunts. And so we sent over 25 different faces. It was almost,
I think it was more, yeah, but
we sent more afterward, but we initially sent 25 to
the
start.
initial chicken
Yeah.
about that.
And teeth also. So I mean,
There was
Well,
a
they
lot
ended
of
up doing
fans.
the mask because it's actually almost like 20 different looks.
Yeah,
With
I
different
was gonna
masks
ask,
in the
how
film.
many actual masks were there?
I think we had just over 30 in
Yeah.
the end, but everyone was used. There was not one spare.
And every
Really?
single one of them had punched eyebrows and punched lashes and all this detail in them. So that it wasn't like just, get a silicone piece out, paint it and throw it in a box. I mean, it had to go through this whole process for all the detail, and it was,
30 masks.
yeah, it was,
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot.
quite a
yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
Because again, continuity meant that, for everyone, for Mark, of course, the hero, there might have to be a stunt backup. So I'd have to hand paint the blood on each mask to match, because the thing is, like, on a film like this, because there's blood flowing everywhere,
Yeah.
you can't predict it. Because initially, when we were prepping, it was a huge concern of the entire production, like, how do we keep up with blood continuity?
yeah.
And I didn't have an easy answer for them. It's like, I don't know.
That's
I don't
amazing.
know how that blood's going to fly, because if physical effects are firing blood out of a blood cannon, or if they're firing it out of a fire extinguisher, I don't know how it's going to predict or how it's going to land on the mask.
Yeah.
Blood gags are hard.
Well, the funny thing
You
is,
can't gauge them. They're hard. They don't, you can't really know what to expect. You hope it goes a certain way, but they're really hard on set.
but again, yeah, I mean, like, we had,
Nothing but blood.
well, we ran out of blood. Everybody ran out of blood.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
I mean, it was-
like when we're talking about blood, which we are, if you're are you literally talking about blood cannons and?
Oh, it was everything, yeah, every type of gag in the book. I mean, the physical effects department did a fantastic job of building a lot of blood rigs.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were times where, like, if there was splats across the face, like, there's a scene
You
where.
must have been so stressed. I mean, not terribly stressed, but you must
No, I
have
was
really
really
been.
stressed.
Yeah, you must have been.
I was.
I mean, I would have been. I would have been like, oh my god, 30 of my masks,
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was stressing like crazy.
It's
There was
hard
some-
too because we couldn't get replacement stuff for him.
yeah.
Like if
Well,
he
yeah.
had what he had, because if
Yeah.
we couldn't get more things to him quickly if he needed it, and supplies there weren't like in.
No,
that easy
I
to
did
get
run out
hold
of
of.
stuff a lot actually, but there was a makeup team out there run by Anna Andreeva, who's fantastic, and she had a team, Iskra and Yana, who were her assistants, which helped a lot with like just helping me like keep blood fresh on set and shipping me things that I couldn't get, because I did run out of a few things out there, because I don't think anybody expected that we would burn through so many materials.
Right.
And particularly things like blood. I mean, we ran out almost in the first 2 weeks.
There's
Well, I
really
think
no-
when you're getting
there's no
direct-
way to know though. There's
Yeah, I
no way to
think
know,
we-
because I remember we were talking about how much blood are we going to need, and we're like,
No,
there's no way to know how many takes are going to happen, and
Well-
we made paste, gels, and like, because there's blood that has to sit on in underwater, so we had to come up with thick blood
Well-
paste that would actually be somewhat water resistant. And of course, a lot of films in the rain.
right.
So the one thing that blood and silicone don't like is water. So often
Yeah.
between takes, I was running in and having to match, hand paint the blood back in. But I was spraying the masks in sealer and various different coatings to try to lock the blood on. It was somewhat successful, but it was just a hell of a lot of maintenance. And of course, we're shooting at night all the time. So, you're running in there with lights and having to light the face correctly, rematch everything from the last scene, getting back on set, seal everything. And then, of course, they're lit in these giant, these rain bars, and they've got this, they've had loads of these rain bars. They were everywhere. But immediately it's washing the blood off,
Right.
So you have to just hope that they can get the scene filmed quick, so you can run back in there and just match everything again for a second, third, fourth take. But yeah, it was
bloody
Bloody
stressful.
disgusting.
bloody stressful. That it
Bloody
was.
stressful.
George, do you have more questions?
Sure do. One from probably my favorite, my favorite name that I see on here. I'm not vintage. I'm grumpy. Asks Todd, tell us about Halloween Wars.
Oh, Halloween Wars. Oh, wow, that's a segue. Halloween Wars. Random. Not Texas Chainsaw, but Halloween Wars was fantastic. I got to be on episodes season 7 through 10. I had a great time on there. They ended up changing the format and going a different direction when they got picked up by Discovery Plus. But the times that I got to bring puppets and put makeups on myself, and Shinman and Jonathan and everyone, meeting all the celebrities on set. It was fantastic. So I had a great time. That was a really good time for me on Halloween Wars.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And we have one from Horrorfest saying, there is a photo circulating that shows what appears to be Leatherface laying on the ground reaching for his mask. Lila is holding some kind of bar / tank. Was that of the original ending?
No. I don't know where. I'm not sure where you're seeing that photo. It's interesting, yeah.
Not sure what that is.
There was some stuff
I
that
didn't
we
release
shot
it.
that wasn't used. There's some stuff in the garage that we shot that wasn't used. I've got to be honest with you. Like I say, I'm going to come clean. I haven't seen the film yet. I haven't had a chance, so I'm not sure exactly what the scene is there.
Well, it's good because we have two of us that have seen it here.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
this is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean,
You should go home tonight and watch.
do you think?
It's worth watching. I like
I
it.
think I know.
You
I
might
think,
like it.
yeah. I think I
Word was
know.
like I lived it.
That's right.
I don't need to watch it. It's like a bad movie.
I think I know what he's talking about, but I have to see the still to know.
George, is there another question?
Yeah. Let's see. Vintage is also asking, is Todd going to Palooza?
Oh yeah, yeah. So guys, we are going to have a full standing Leatherface display, and we're going to have some also display of our other work in the museum at Monsterpalooza. So we'll be there all 3 days. So definitely come out and say hello to us and come take a photo with Leatherface.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm moderating.
Oh, that's right.
I'm moderating Monsterpalooza this
Yeah.
year, and when I came on here, and I didn't even say who I was, so I might want to tell you guys who I am.
Who are you anyway?
So I'm Natalie Popovich, aka Ivonna Cadaver. So yeah, but yeah, I'm going to be moderating that. So that's exciting because again, we've been closed down, and I know Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot, who runs Monsterpalooza, has been trying to get that thing running, and they've had
Yes.
to cancel like 3 times now. So,
Yeah.
But I think we're going to be good this time. So
I think we are too.
definitely come out and come say hello.
Yeah.
And we're also doing cooking tips with Leatherface.
Cooking tips with Leatherface. It's a new show we're going to
Yeah.
put together.
That's
Macrame with
I was
Leatherface.
That's a good one.
that's what I was looking forward
Yes.
to. Yeah, because I'm such a great cook. So
Nice.
And we also have another one here from Hermit Sal asking, in the outdoor scene where Leatherface's mom was found by that lady, is the thunderstorm computer-generated image, or was it an actual storm?
Say that question again. Sorry.
They're basically saying in the movie when Leatherface, right when the storm comes in and starts to cover it's in the movie. It's
That
probably
was there.
Was it
It was
actual storm?
CG.
Oh, it was digital.
Yeah, it was digital. Yeah,
It was digital.
All the weather effects were digital, except for the actual
The rain.
It's not rain, but yeah, all the clouds and stuff were CG.
Yeah, digital
Excellent.
storm.
And we also have Jackie Merson adding, perfect timing for the continuing saga of Leatherface. Interview is well done. That's always good to hear. And Horrorfest also says you really sympathize with Leatherface. Had these events not transpired, he very well could have spent the rest of his days in solitude.
Mm.
right.
Yeah. And CJ
I think he deserves
Schweiger also-
another chance myself. I think he was misunderstood.
Hey,
That's
again,
just
I just
So that's the kids on the bus.
yeah, still that's right.
True. Yeah.
The bus scene.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We also have CJ Schweigert asking how involved was Fade Alvarez in the character design of Leatherface.
He was fully involved.
Yeah.
He was fully involved. Even even when I was out in Bulgaria, he would do Zoom calls. Fade was fully involved from the start, and even when we were into testing, because there was a period of days where I was testing the look on Mark and we were changing things up. Fade was fully involved and we tried all sorts of different things too. There was some masks where we because initially, it's quite a clean cut, but there was some tests that I did where we were cutting more hashes and slashes into the mask and changing the color tones a little bit. And the actual the mask itself is actually attached to an underskull that's covered in Velcro, and you can actually sort of tweak the mask a little bit and reposition it to get slightly different sort of affectations on the face. But we filmed a lot of stuff and took a lot of stills, and Fade saw things, as they were being shot, and he was, giving direction all the time with that final look. So yeah, he was always involved.
And then this was a great one because we hadn't worked with Fade before. Fade's company, Bad Hombre, had done the remake of Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, and they were doing some great stuff.
Oh yeah.
We had worked with Herb Gaines, who was at Legendary on the films G.I. Joe Retaliation and Jack Reacher 2, Geostorm. And then he went and started working for Legendary, and he was the one that called us on the job. But then when we found out that Fade was in the mix and we were working with both Fade and Herb on this. It was really cool because it was an open door to me. Work with Fede.
And again, I've got to give props to Herb because he held that production together during COVID, you know, and that was, I mean, nobody knew what they were doing.
Right.
You know, that was such a crazy time. I mean, honestly, we were trying to get things together. It was nuts. In fact, during prep, all the prep meetings were held on a soundstage, and everybody had to be like 30 foot apart on their own little table.
It was all new.
But it was all new, and everybody was being very, very cautious. But Herb did a great job of running that whole show.
No one got sick.
No one got
No one
sick.
No one got sick.
Amazing.
Do you have a question?
I have a few questions. on
Yes.
Instagram. Somebody asked or says, I'd love to get a better view of the inside the mask to see how they would put it on day and set.
Hmm.
Show the show
I was gonna ask you guys about the true process of these masks.
There's a number of magazine articles that we did that actually, if you check on my Instagram, I'll give you guys links to them. We have photos in those magazines that actually show the silicone appliances. It shows the sculpture of the teeth. It shows a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So we'll make sure that stuff's available for you guys to check out.
And also, just remember to go to @Todd Tucker official on his Instagram, because that's where a lot of these pictures are going to be.
Todd Tucker official, and we'll have a bunch of stuff up there for you to see.
Yeah.
And what
sure
else did you have?
they know where
The
to go.
other question is, how does it feel to create such a legacy character?
Stressful.
Scary.
Yeah, I wanted
As scary as Leatherface himself.
Well, it was a lot of
Not
stress.
grateful.
Like,
Nothing like
I said
scary,
earlier,
stressful. Most of the answers they gave.
I took this really seriously. We all did. I mean, you know, it's a huge undertaking to come up with that mask, and
There was a lot of question of how people were gonna respond
you're
because
always going to upset people. Like no matter how hard you try, it's just it's part of the process, you know. But you just hope that you'll strike a note that maybe people will relate to this in the same way they did to the first look, you know.
we also
times have changed.
times have changed. We
Yeah.
also had a couple different design looks for the hair. At one point in time, the hair was a little bit longer because it was going to be potentially some of the hair left over from the mom character, and we did some designs with that. And ultimately, we just decided that didn't work, and it went to this look where it's the wet down, more flat hair. But I do think, and what I've been hearing from people is they're really happy with the look. It has a very organic look that matches the storyline and what's happening in the storyline. So I feel like, and as we were reading through the script, it was very clear, kind of, the tone, at least in the script, whether the movie translated that way or not, the tone of what this was going to be. So the somber face and having him look just kind of, making the skin and everything look really translucent and real. And I think, it was just, for me personally, I really liked the final look of what it was like.
At the end of the day, though, it's Mark's performance, because no matter how good a mask can look, you don't want the makeup wearing you have to wear the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark really, worked that mask, he really embraced it. And, many a time he would put that thing on and he'd just spend a few moments on his own, just, finding that character.
Right, finding the voice.
Mark, if you're out there, great job, man.
Yeah, for sure. But he was a trooper because, again, I've got to say, like, a lot of night shoots, the conditions were so cold out there, the blood was freezing. I mean, it was like a lump. you know. He was a complete trooper through that. Again, it's all outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
It's sub-zero temperatures.
Right.
Mean, he was. Well, when you're covered in blood from head to foot, let me tell you, that is a very uncomfortable place to be in. So I was constantly keeping him hydrated. We have to spritz him down to loosen the blood up all the time, especially around the neck, because if you wear blood around the neck, it's a very uncomfortable thing. So you'd have to keep getting in there with warm water and spraying him down and keeping his hands nice and lubricated because he's holding the chainsaw all the time.
Right.
So the last thing is that thing flying out of his hands and hitting somebody in the face.
There were some pretty wild scenes with him throwing that thing around.
Him throwing the chainsaw was something
amazing.
That was really a cool aspect of his character in this one, because he literally takes the chainsaw if he can't get to you and has a twisting way of throwing it where he can kill you from 30 feet. So there's some pretty cool things that he does in this film that I have never seen before as far as his character.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Martin was saying about how, you're playing this character. You're not just wearing this makeup.
No, and Mark brought that to it, and that's I think the combination of Mark's performance, the look of the film, the direction. I mean, it just feels like for me, it just clicked. I was into it, yeah.
But I wanted to ask. It was a very good question. I wanted to ask you guys. So you have worked with all these guys. I mean, it's a tight clique. You have worked with so many filmmakers before, and you done a lot of really big projects, but this is the first horror icon character coming out of Illusion Industries.
We've done a lot of different horror films like Ouija and
Yeah, but you're talking about
the
the big
top
five, right?
The
That's
five.
That's
There's
it.
the top
You got
five.
Freddy,
Yeah.
you got Jason, you got,
You got Michael, you got Chucky, and you got
Leatherface.
Leatherface.
And so,
Chucky doesn't count.
I'm kidding. No.
well,
I think he does.
does it?
I don't.
Yeah, he does.
But I mean, there's a top, so this is a horror icon, notably.
Yeah.
And so, I wanted to ask
And
you
the
guys.
first.
Right.
Right, the first
That's-
started.
Arguably.
Yeah, you have to
Arguably.
give Texas Chainsaw props because literally there was nothing like Texas Chainsaw for the most part back in the 70s when that came out.
Correct.
And that really sprung the Michael Myers, then the Jason. I mean, it really was the beginning of it. So regardless, you got to give them credit
Yeah.
because that performance is really what I think unique, made
Yeah.
that work.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, man. Rest in peace, guys.
George, do we have any other questions?
We do, actually. We have one from, just bringing it right back up here. We have Glenn Shirley saying, all the effects were amazing. Great job. What was the hardest prop to make?
Well, we at Illusion concentrated on Leatherface. So there was other companies that did some of the other effects in the film that were locals there in Bulgaria. So prop-wise, for us, it was really just focusing on Leatherface for the most part. Now, Martin did supervise the majority of the stuff that was going on set because he was there and he was the guy that knew everything and knew what was going on. So, but there was other companies that did the props and some of the other gore effects. So we were all about Leatherface.
And Brandon,
Did
you go to the?
It was like
Did you
a
go to the
huge combined effort, like a lot of people
Yeah.
worked as a team on that. Because sometimes the
Yeah,
artists
asked where to find the link.
weren't necessarily
Yeah, text them.
there. It's only when you're on set and you see what you're up against and what you're working around
Oh.
that you can really come up with some of those gags.
Do me a favor,
There's
go
some
to the link and see if there's anybody in their chat.
Interaction.
That's what George is supposedly reading.
But a lot of it was practical.
But I'm not seeing anything pop
Friday
up
was very
here,
big
so I don't know
on
if he's off a different social media, but don't take off YouTube. I'm telling you
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
there's a little CG assist here and there. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that the bits I have seen, it's even hard for me to tell. So,
Yeah.
how much has actually been altered, I couldn't even really tell you myself. I mean, but
Should watch it for that.
that's very funny. I'll give it a go. I hear it's very good.
I think you might like it.
Yeah.
Leatherface looks good.
Oh, does it? That's good.
Hey.
That's a relief.
Very nice.
Another question over here on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, good question. They were. I had to completely, I told you a few things actually. So there were some adjustments made to the length of the neck, because initially the neck was just a bit too long. So we brought the length of the neck up.
Can you mute that? No, can you mute
I did some
the
color
noise?
shifts. Actually, you probably don't even notice too
Can you
much.
mute your
during the
alert?
movie, but,
It's just constantly
Rich
going.
Mabry, the guy who
Please.
did an absolutely stellar job on these. But the mask is starting to rot a little bit through the film, right? I mean, it takes place over a very short period of time, but I would darken the
I don't
mask
know if
up
we
a
got
little
somebody
bit.
on the cameras here, when you
sort
just
of
shut the
make
volume
the
off.
mask a little darker during the film. And for the most part, I think, if I remember, it was just changing the length of the neck and darkening the mask up towards the end of the film. But that was about it, I think. That was about it. Yeah.
Now, George, I have a question. How much more time do we have?
We have about 12 minutes on
Okay, cool.
for this one.
Let me
yeah.
know when we're at about the 5-minute mark because I'm going to do our giveaway.
Yeah.
You got it.
Awesome.
We have one here from Brandon Short, who is probably a similar question to the prop one, but was asking, can you tell us what brand of clothing Leatherface wore? Mainly the shirt.
Brand of clothing for the shirt.
Oh, I don't know. That was all. So the aprons, I believe, came in from the US here.
San Diego, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Or-
if memory serves.
There's
me.
some kind of weird, like, old vintage apron that they put on and that they found in some San Diego, I think there's some warehouse or something.
The shirt, the pants, and the boots came from the US. I think they were Timberland boots. They actually came from the US. The shirt and the pants were sourced locally, as well as the workman's pants. I think we call them dungarees in Britain, but like the
Yeah.
the farmers overalls.
Right.
They were found out locally in Bulgaria.
If anyone does know where that stuff is, let me know, because we're building a statue, and I gotta find a shirt and an apron.
That's
and
not
pants.
true. He dresses like Leatherface. Really.
It does, true.
I admit it. Any
Another
more,
question?
George?
Yeah, we have a comment from Eddie Lopez saying you guys did Leatherface justice. Great work. The bus scene is already an early contender for best horror scene of 2022. I expect to see lots of Leatherface masks come Halloween, which is always good. We have Mark Burnham chiming in saying Martin worked his ass off for 7 weeks, 24/7. I was so impressed by his stamina and professionalism. Boom. There you go right there.
Aw,
Nice.
amazing.
Leatherface himself, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
There you go. Mark, thank you so much for chiming in. This is so cool, by the way. Just as a quick aside, I'm having a blast with this, and everything's going great. So thank you to all of you for chiming in with your comments, with your questions. All of this is fantastic. Hermit Sal with a big one saying, what was the most difficult scene to shoot and why?
Bus.
The bus.
Hands down. So there was 2 buses. There was the practical bus that you see that drives into the town, and then they built a whole other fake bus in a soundstage in a swimming pool.
Oh, wow.
Because there was so much blood
Wow.
that between take. Well, first problem is that because of COVID, we could only shoot for like 30 minutes.
And then you'd have to stop, right? And they'd have to clear out the set.
Clear out the set,
Yeah.
and because it was a contained space, they
Right.
have to disinfect everything. Let it sit for another 30 minutes, and then get back in to shoot again.
Wow.
So on top of which, you got a team of guys going in with like floor cleaners, like squeegees, to actually like mop all the blood out between each take.
Wow.
Prep the bus again, and then get all the extras back in the bus. It was just logistically
Intense.
It was a nightmare.
The reset on that was.
It was and poor David, like, you know, I think for David it was. I wouldn't say it was frustrating, but like, you know, as a director, you know, I was
Yeah,
watching
you're
him.
focused on something.
He's locked into getting a moment, and then suddenly you hear, right, clear the set, and everybody has to
Right.
That has to jerk you out of your flow.
100%.
You know, as you're on a flow and you're doing a scene, I mean, to have to stop because of those reasons.
And that's that new world.
It
Yeah.
is.
Right.
But for Mark too, I mean, for everybody involved, like, you know, you're all invested in those moments because, you know, it's intense, you know.
Yeah.
And everything's, you know, filmed in parts and sections, right? So it's not like you start with the beginning and end with the end. It's like you might start with the end and finish at the beginning. So like all the continuity on the inside of the bus has to keep
But
changing.
you have to think everything backwards that way, though.
Exactly.
You have to start from the worst point scenario potentially and go backwards rather than building up. So that's where it gets really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Continuity.
But that bus was crazy. And again, I have to give props to Michael Perry because that bus was like the camera had to go into so many different parts of that bus.
Mhm.
And so much of that bus could be taken away, you know, and pulled apart and could get cameras in. I mean, it was a marvel to watch that thing.
I agree, though, and when you see it, that bus scene is absolutely the thing that everyone's going to be talking about.
100%.
Yeah.
I've already gotten so many comments about the bus. You know, just talking to friends and
Right.
you know.
And it's funny because in
everybody
the
talks about
ad,
that bus.
they show everyone, you know, pull out their phones and take a picture, and they make it seem like it's a funny moment.
Yeah.
And they kind of almost made the movie seem like it might be a little humorous.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
only
it's intense.
time in that entire film where there's anything that's even remotely funny.
Yeah.
But man, the flip side of that moment is probably, I believe, one of the new horror great cult moments.
Yeah, I mean,
David
Might that not have happened?
and Ricardo just killed that one, and Mark.
yeah, I'm like, might that not have happened in today's world? You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. George, any more
got-
questions?
We got time for one more question. Now, you know, like everyone else who's chiming in with their comments and questions, I'm going to be reading those as well when we cut over to the post-game show.
Got
So don't think, don't think you're being ignored or passed over or whatever. Your comments, everything will be read at the next hour. But we got a big one here from both Jackie Blood and Sally the Zombie Cheerleader, both asking around the same thing. Will there be a sequel to this movie? Since there seem to be a few more in line to be made, will there be a continuation of this current timeline?
Please let there be a sequel.
I've got some ideas.
Yeah.
Leatherface in space.
Leatherface,
Huh?
well, no, I think Leatherface Cooking Show is the best.
That could be a good one.
Leatherface
It's a
Cooking
streaming
Show.
show. Yeah.
Streaming show.
I don't know.
And
I mean,
what would Leatherface make?
he would do lasagna.
Lasagna.
Yeah, he's a
Lasagna.
lasagna.
That's lasagna for Americans.
That's
by the
right,
way.
lasagna. I like that.
Lasagna. We are hoping, when Netflix picked it up, we were assuming that this would get a theatrical release, but then when Netflix picked it up, we were like, oh, it's going to be Netflix. But then they promoted it, and they seemed very, very excited about it. So we're hoping this is the beginning of a lot more Texas Chainsaw to come.
It's up to you, the fans.
Yeah, if you guys like it, let them know. We'll make it more.
All right, and we are at the 5-minute mark, so let's do some giveaways here.
All right, so guys, like I told you, if you went on my Instagram, we were going to give you a giveaway. What we're going to give, and
Lunch with me.
well, no, actually, it's the artwork though. I can't give. Unfortunately,
It's amazing.
I unfortunately cannot give away anything from the film. I will get in trouble for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you. I want this stuff. So what we're going to do, Martin's going to pull a name from you guys going on my Instagram, and you're going to win. Well, actually, let's pull the name, and I'll show you what you're going to win.
I was gonna say,
No.
No? Oh, sorry, whoever that was.
Notice he's off camera. He's like,
All right.
give me the one with your name.
hold on,
Yeah,
I'm gonna hide it behind the boots.
you got it?
I'm gonna hide it behind the, all right, it is Andy Mink.
Andy Mink, you have won. Let me show you.
F3F, I probably shouldn't give out his handle, but.
No, that's fine.
Andy.
You are going to get a Terror of Hallows Eve, our film and shirt DVD. You're also going to get a virtual tour of the studio, and you're going to get this. I know.
Oh, look at that.
And this is an original art piece that Martin did years ago. There's a one of a kind. This is the only one that exists, and you just won. This was a design for Grayskull that Martin did years ago.
Andy's the
it's a really
follower
cool
on
piece. I'm so
Instagram
sorry I'm having to
that
give it
I
up.
told you
I'm
made
gonna
like
give it
a
to you.
activity workbook
Congratulations.
for the movie.
Ought to be.
I was gonna print it out.
And, and I'll force him to sign it
That's
too.
amazing.
Well, no, I have it. I was
Awesome.
gonna upload the images. Like I
And we'll
wanted
do
to
a
put it next,
virtual,
like in the
tour
chat.
with you, show you
I
some
wanted to
Leatherface
upload it.
stuff.
Yes.
We'll reach out to you and make sure that happens.
Congratulations, Andy. Yeah, that's
Andy,
amazing.
fantastic.
I've seen this in here a long time.
It's been here for a while.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been here for a
yeah.
while.
Oh, that's my buddy George.
So any last questions, George? Are we good to go?
I've got one more. This is from Hugo M, who is asking. Did it just? Okay, here we go. Saying, did you guys enjoy the political side of the movie? Did you think it was bold in this time
Yeah,
era?
that's for me. So just hold on. We're not in that
I
hour.
gotta
Bro.
be honest with you.
You gotta wait till I call him.
I just enjoyed the film.
Jeez.
I didn't really.
So if anybody wants to
I
work
didn't
on the
really
show,
pay
I have an
attention
open.
to it. I just sat back and
Agreed.
tried to watch the film as a fan, not as
Absolutely.
somebody that was involved in
Too
it.
busy
and
on
I
his
just didn't
phone,
really pay attention
like a
to
Gen
politics.
X.
I
And-
just enjoyed
Message,
the
message,
ride.
message.
That's right, and for me, what I really paid attention to was just, well, I couldn't help but pay attention
I've
to it,
been
was
watching this
really
week.
what this is promoting are these kill scenes, and honest to God, notably, Leatherface.
Right.
Like, everybody's talking about Leatherface, so for me, that was, and I'm coming to the studio to do this. So for me, I'm like, that's where it's at. So, no, I just was entertained by the movie, and I love the fact that it was 80 minutes of just gnarly, like,
Tell George
on
it
your
just
seat,
found me.
just strap in, because this is happening.
And I want to say thank you to everyone at Legendary, Bad Hombre, everyone
Yes.
involved in the film. My guy Martin here for knocking it out of the park. My team here at Illusion Industries for helping me pull this whole thing together. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the Leatherface character. Hopefully there's a lot more to come. And we really appreciate you guys joining us today.
Yeah, we thank you so much for joining us for TCM Talk, and it's all things Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's on Netflix right now. It is trending number 3, and notably, we are here at Todd Tucker's Todd Tucker
We are live.
Illusion
We've been live this whole
Industries.
time.
And this is an amazing congratulations to you guys for doing Leatherface.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us, and
And here's a little piece for you as we go out.
Sure.
You can check this out.
Now remember, guys, stick around for the post game party, because we got myself from Excelsior Journeys. We have Michael B chiming in from Terror Talk. This is going to be a whole lot of fun. Do not go anywhere. We got a lot more to.
Okay,
to
they
have
said
some
my
fun
name.
with.
I can go home
But in
now.
the meantime, it is the after party.
Leatherface after party here at Illusion.
All you guys have backstage passes for. In the meantime, take a look at this. Take a look at this video right now.
Thanks for joining us on TCM Talk. I hope you had a good time. As we mentioned, Martin Astles was the on-set makeup artist for the feature film. But a few weeks back, I had the honor of doing the Leatherface makeup for a promotional shoot. Check it out. Our Alright guys, so we are here. Miss Leatherface, you look beautiful, sir. Alright, once I had the honor of doing Leatherface makeup today. To be honest with you, he's not a bad guy. He hasn't killed anyone all day long. I feel like I'm bonded with this. What do you think?
And we are back, and it is time for the post-game party. If there's really no better way to say it, this is George Sirois over here from Excelsior Journeys. Thank you so much for being here. We have been spending the last hour chatting with Todd Tucker and Martin from Illusion Industries, and it is my pleasure to once again give some big shout outs to my monthly co-host, the horror host from the West Coast, the lovely Ivonna Cadaver. Ivonna, this was awesome. I am so thrilled that you offered this opportunity to put this whole thing together. This, you were the spirit.
I'm sitting here with the masters of makeup, so hey, I was just telling them the master of disaster. Yes. Martin says.
And a big shout out to Michael Beef for sitting back here. I am so looking forward to hearing what you got to say over here over at Terra Talk. Welcome.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. It was great watching that first hour. I'm looking forward to this post game now.
Excellent.
Awesome, thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have quite a few different chime-ins from a lot of different people. Just kind of taking a look through the whole run over here. People, a lot of the questions have already been asked, and a lot of people are really excited. Saying Vintage chimed in saying, "Nice job on the decapitated heads, Todd."
Oh yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Actually, we didn't make the decapitated heads.
No.
Again, we concentrated on Leatherface. Those were made by some of the local guys there that were jumping in and helping on some of the practical damage effects, as the victim effects, I guess is what you would say. But
they definitely get a shout
it did look great though. They did a great job.
Shout out. Oh yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I mean,
There's some CG.
right. Well, there's a combination of digital, and the digital company that they brought on for this film did a fantastic job. There's some combinations of digital and practical
Mr.
effects. Mr. X right there. So some of those practical effects has some assist, but man, that stuff just looks really good and is really effective in the film. So we're happy to know that that turned out really good too.
And I see some emojis coming in from Mark Burnham. I see flowers. I see hammers. I see some smiling devil faces with some thumbs up. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a good thing. And
hey, guys, think about it. How cool is it?
Awesome.
How cool is it that Leatherface himself is actually chiming in on our
I know, that's great.
Here.
That's great.
I gotta say, this is a really cool book. I gotta say, this is a really cool bookend because back in 2000, 2001, I had the pleasure of briefly meeting Gunnar Hansen himself and getting his autograph on an 8x10. That was from Chiller Theater over by Secaucus in New Jersey. So. That's good. So this is definitely some great bookends over here.
I met Gunnar years ago with Butch Patrick, aka Eddie Munster, and so I was just a young ghoul back then. And no, I met Gunnar, and I felt like I was 15 years old. He was such a big dude, right? And I met him in Ohio. I think we were doing like some convention in Ohio. He was just the nicest man. Nice. He was just such a nice soul. Just a very nice soul. So yeah, Gunnar, I miss him.
Guys, we've had somebody wait. We've had somebody wait in T. Clifton wanted to know if Ivonna would put the mask on.
Yeah, if mask on me,
there you go. There she is, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a good look.
I'm ready for my close-up.
Ivonna Leather.
There you go.
I'm ready for my close-up.
Ugo M is also asking. Ugo M is asking, did you go with silicone for the mask? Was it plasteel gel? It looks so realistic.
Yeah, so initially, that's a good question. Initially, we were going to go with foam, because obviously it's lightweight, and you know it's got that old school feel. And initially, in the early stages, we definitely did tests with foam latex, but obviously it's a freshly skinned face, so it just wasn't advantageous. And here's the other thing too: when I realised a lot of it was shooting in the rain, it would have been a bad deal to use foam latex. You know, foam and water obviously they're a great combination. They like to absorb each other. So silicone obviously is more resistant, and obviously we knew there were scenes where the mask could be underwater potentially. So all around it was just better to use plat gel for the masks. And again, Dalton Kutch, the guy who ran these masks, he ran a whole bunch of different types of tests. We had different deadeners, we had different densities. The one that the infamous shot where he holds it up into the sun, we called that the jelly skin, but we made a much thinner skin for that had a lot of back detail, all hand painted into that. There was also, in fact, actually, memory serves, we had 3 different densities of mask for this too.
Right.
So there was never really one material or one type of density or one type of silicone ran for the masks. There were a few different ones depending on what the scene dictated.
But the face that he puts on, we see it in the film. He's taking the face off his mom and putting it on fresh right there. So it really, the silicone has that translucency that looks like fresh, real skin, and even photographs with translucency. So you can kind of tell the difference. So it was important that it really felt like it was brand new, fresh, severed skin.
But it is a departure from that original look, because a lot of those original masks were foam.
They didn't have
and the latex too.
Yeah, they didn't really have the silicone materials back then, so everything was foam back then. But they also didn't have the cameras that shot it the way this was shot. So you had to evolve with the.
True. I wouldn't say the consistency. If we're talking about consistency, just you putting that on my face, it's like it's pretty dense.
Yeah, it is.
But it's kind of,
But
it kind of fit my face. I'm just saying it's kind of very good job.
Yeah, well, there was actually, as I said, it was a little bit of engineering. It wasn't as simple as engineering. That's one under structure, which Todd said. I mean, I guess if you go to
At Todd Tucker.
oh yeah,
Tell her that.
Yeah,
we'll see the pictures with it.
You can see the pictures of a lot of this stuff, guys, at my Todd Tucker official Instagram. You'll see photos of the actual silicone faces lined up on the face forms, and you'll see a bunch of cool behind the scenes stuff. You can check it out. But
on the bus was great.
yeah,
Just a comment.
And we also have
You can
we
read
have
from
Jeff
the
Coyle asking. Will the mask be for sale at Illusion Industries or Trick or Treat Studios? I guess maybe replicas.
So we are not selling this mask. That would get me in so much trouble, and I would like to do a sequel eventually if it's possible. As far as something happening with Trick or Treat Studios, that would be a licensing deal with the studios, and if that was something they would want us to do, we'd be happy to do that. And by the way, Trick or Treat Studios is a great mask company, and they have all kinds of great masks. You guys should check it out. They actually have our Terror of Hallows Eve characters on their website, so check out Trick or Treat Studios.
Yeah, you have
nice.
the Terror Policy, all the masks.
One of the best.
Exactly. I wish
Yeah.
they could see them over there. But Jeff Coyle actually did. You asked me about Jeff.
I didn't exactly hear what you
Jeff,
said. It's an
you did
appropriate
the,
comment.
You did a picture of
Now,
Todd.
don't
Oh, that's
tell
Jeff.
her
That's
that
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you very much for the art. That was
Yes,
really cool.
Todd said,
Living
"Who's the guy
people
that
on
did
the
the
bus
artwork?"
was
Because
great.
I sent it to Todd when you did it.
Mowing
And he
down
said,
50
"Who's the guy that
people.
did that?"
Okay.
said,
I just got a warning that you have to stop.
Macabre Theater. And anyway, I'm going to put you guys in touch.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. That was a really cool artwork. Thank you.
Michael, do we have any questions over on your end?
There we go. We had a comment from one of our viewers, George. He was just saying that he loved the bus scene, mowing down the alternative lifestyle. Gen Xers was a great scene. So you guys got on it. So you guys.
That scene, man. That scene was great.
So you.
There's one scene in there, or one piece in there that I just really stuck in my mind because it was shot so well. And I'm watching for that stuff too, because as a director, I'm watching how shots connect and everything, and they did such a great job. There's a girl that is climbing out a window, and they start inside the bus, and then they pan over to the outside of the bus, and she's halfway out.
Yeah.
And you see him in the window sawing
Yep.
her half, and then her half of her body falls out of the bus into the ground.
Yeah.
It was just,
Gnarly.
it's just gnarly.
Gnarly.
The violence definitely pays off for you guys if you are fans of the original, for sure.
There's a real viciousness that that really comes from this. I mean, and that goes all the
You
way
got some
back
else
to the
in it.
very beginning of this whole series. Like that moment, I still remember.
Like?
The mallet scene from the original film.
Yeah.
With the
Like
when once the kid drops and everything,
No.
Leatherface
They
pulls
gotta
him
come
in,
up with a
the
question
metal
now,
doors
we can all,
snap shut. Like that's one of the most
This is for a
viscerally
licensed show. I can't.
terrifying scenes that I think I've ever seen in a film. So like that was awesome.
Honestly, there's really very little blood in that first film.
It's what's over, but it's not about the blood though. It's about the aggression and,
It is in
and
this
the
one.
scariness of how it's like having a really scary drunk dad who's gonna beat the crap out of you. It's that that kind of a thing where it's just really it's the anger behind the face that I think is really what makes Leatherface in this movie for sure, because this movie moves.
Yeah, look,
It's an action film horror
100%.
kind of.
In this film, it's like honest to God, like strap in, because it's just like it's ongoing gnarliness, not gonna stop, and just when you think it's gonna be okay, it's not. And it starts that way out the gate.
But it's not. It's
with the girl.
Go right off the bat.
Yeah, with the fiance. What's the character's name? The girl.
That's
Mom.
fun.
Sorry. And yeah, the girlfriend. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Todd's daughter.
Yes. Getting information is very.
Yeah. But at any rate, no, right out of the gate, it just starts, and it's just like strap in. It's gnarly, and that's why I like the fact that it's 80 minutes.
It
long.
goes back. I mean, even that's even the bus scene. I mean,
Yeah.
it goes on for a while, but it's boom, boom, boom. I mean, there's no like just lingering on blood and guts. It's happening really
It
fast.
reminds me of Peter Jackson's King Kong way back in the day. I mean, it's not way back in the day, but Peter Jackson's King Kong was kind of like you never got a break, and it's not wasn't graphically gnarly like this, but you never got a break with that. It was just Jack Black, one scene to another scene, and it was kind of what we had said back then was exhausting. You were exhausted after,
Right.
So this had the same kind of feel, modern day, but a horror movie where it gets to just be like, but I knew that was going to be the case.
But instead of
was
it
gonna be
being
the case.
3.5 hours long,
100%.
it's barely under an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and you're like, you want
So
more.
good.
It's cool. It's
Yeah.
very cool.
So good.
Yeah, it did actually watch very quick. We're very fast.
Yeah, right.
You were following, and next thing you know, it was. I did want a little bit more.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it was.
100%. I was glad.
Hopefully that means we'll have a sequel where we can get that more.
Yep.
Yeah. And how do you guys feel about what doing this iconic character for Illusion Industries coming into 2002 and new business coming in? I mean, because really the star of this movie is Leatherface. Legit.
It's great. I mean, as a company, it's great because to have a title character like this and hopefully have a good response for the most part. And of course, there are going to be people who aren't going to like it, and I expect people to not like it because it's not everyone is going to love our design. But ultimately, I think that it's a really good thing for us. The timing is great because, like you said, we haven't had this type of a title character before. And hopefully this does bring off more Texas Chainsaw stuff. We'd love to keep doing this.
Yeah, it's tough with sequels, requels, and reboots, right?
Yeah.
Requels, right? So
And this franchise has it all. It's got the
I mean,
sequels,
right.
it's got the requels, it's got the reboots, it's got
it's a tough thing. I mean, it's kind of
What is
like
it?
even with like Rob Zombie and him
Gotta wait till I
casting
need
Sherry
that.
Moon, his wife, in it.
Gotta get
He got
it.
so much blowback from that. The movie's not even out, but
What's the question,
notably,
folks?
Quentin Tarantino.
He makes me mute the
back in the
podcast
day when
because he
first
says he has a
started,
question,
were
which is his
bashing
job
him
to
for
read
what
me
he was doing. Now
questions.
he's a genius.
And I said,
know
"What's
what
the
I
question?"
mean?
He just looked at me like this.
I always like to stuff though.
I think
Really,
that the
there's a
violence
position
in this
open.
is interesting
Contact
because the
Third
violence
Talk
in
NJ.
this,
At gmail.com.
because we watched it
What's the
last
question?
night, and I watched it
Holy
with my
God.
wife and daughters, and I was like, man, is this going to be too much? Because I don't know if sitting down and watching the original with them would make me feel comfortable. But this movie just moved so fast that there wasn't time to overly focus on the entrails coming out of the body that just fell out of the window because you were already on to the next thing,
100%.
So it was it just
Didn't
rock and
notice
rolled.
that.
So I was real excited.
Do you know
to
the
have it.
interesting thing with Texas Chainsaw movies is that each movie really reflects I don't want to get.
No, do, because you have the history behind it.
Again, licensed
The thing is, like,
podcast, somebody else's. I don't want to ask questions that might not be.
At that particular time, you know, there's a lot of social commentary in those films, and unlike I think a lot of the other icons, like the original film has a lot of
I'll credit it to somebody.
flavors of the Vietnam War and
No, because Netflix probably sought them. Remember, it's not their film.
But
It's not their film.
I think each
They were just the makers of the film just said, hey, make us some Leatherface.
And in a weird way, I think this film strangely represents where the world is today. In a lot of ways.
Well, and exactly where you guys were at. I mean, you were definitely working in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life.
Yeah.
Real time.
It's interesting though how the movie pulled in, like cell phones and
100%.
the elements of current day to try to pull
Also,
that
I think
in.
the speed of it. I mean, there's the technology stuff, but I think the speed of it, the fast-paced nature of it, the fact that Leatherface is more of a freight train in this than he was, perhaps in the original. I think, I think each filmmaker brings their own particular signature onto the character, And I do sympathise and I really do understand why a lot of people, get very attached to the Leatherface Day version. Or the one that they remember, and rightfully so. I mean, I there's nothing wrong with that. But it's interesting, like I think seeing sort of push and pull on this character a little bit and on the movie, because I think people they always remember the nostalgia of the one they grew up with, And I think when they see something that's completely like fresh and new, I think there's this initial like, oh my God, what have you done to my Leatherface?
My Leatherface.
Yeah. But that's to be respected.
Yes. Battery change. Okay, great, guys. Hey, 1 second. We're going to quickly do a battery change on the camera. Microphone is still going, so go ahead and give us another question.
George, when I'm on their
By the time you're
podcast,
done,
you can't cough. I keep
Technical
getting
Joey,
like
the
screamed
Wonder
at by
Boy,
this
will have
guy over
ready
here.
for us.
Okay.
Yep, I can still hear you guys just fine. And this is a perfect opportunity for my question, because I got one for both, Todd and Martin. One of the things that I like to hear about is on my show is what I call the lightning bolt moment. And that's that moment when you either experience something, meet someone, hear something, see something, whatever, that makes you kind of point in that direction and say, that is what I want to do. That is the kind of life I want to live. That's the kind of person I want to be. So for both of you, for Todd and Martin, how the hell did you decide to get into this crazy world in the first place?
I think I speak for Martin and myself when I say it wasn't a choice. It was in our blood. I loved this stuff since I was a kid. I got my first werewolf mask when I was 5. I loved monsters. I loved The Wizard of Oz, Planet of the Apes. I loved The Exorcist at an age I probably shouldn't have seen it. I was a huge and the thing for Martin also and I is that we were at an age where, we were teenagers or younger, depending, when all these great movies like Jaws and Halloween and Texas Chainsaw and Aliens and Freddy Krueger and all this stuff came out. I mean, we were, there wasn't anything like that before that. So we got to go and see this in the movies for the first time in the theaters. And it really, for me personally, it just impacted me and made me want to do this all the time. And it was kind of all I ever thought about. I'm also very OCD and just love, I was the only child who went to the films all the time and would spend entire weekends in a movie theater. So I just loved it from the get-go and was lucky enough to be able to, do this instead of winding up in jail.
Martin used to be a policeman.
Oh, Martin.
It was Tea Factory. That's right.
Black tea.
Black
Tea Factory.
Coming from Britain was a little different. I don't know. Like I was into film as a kid. I don't know if necessarily I had ambitions to get this business when I was little. I did love Phantom of the Opera. I mean, there was loads of things I remember being a huge influence on me when I was super little. But I really wanted to be a fine artist, to be honest. When I was at college. So makeup and creature effects, although obviously they had a long and rich history in Britain, they're much smaller. We have people like Roy Ashton and Chris Tucker, and these guys were like pioneers back in the day, especially with makeups like the Elephant Man and stuff. So there was a lot of good stuff coming out of the UK, but it was just such a small business, and the possibility of getting into it just seemed so remote. So I went to art school to do fine art. It wasn't like I sort of I love makeup effects and creature effects, but I thought, oh, it's never going to happen.
Amazing.
So
And how did you two meet?
we met on Tinder.
You swiped up. You swiped up.
You said you never tell. You son of a bitch. My wife is watching, and you out me. No.
Right.
You know, you think,
I actually-
you think you're coming here for Leatherface and then breaking news.
I'm not-
You're a couple.
This is why people stay for the
That's
after
the
party.
exclusive, not Leatherface.
The last time that happened was with Nathan Fillion and Michael Rooker. No joke on the set of Slither. Same thing.
Really?
Yeah. Michael Rooker said, "Well, we're a couple now," and I went, "Oh, breaking news."
That's awesome.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the second time it happened.
Sorry about that.
Actually, and this is, actually, you guys probably know this name. My mentor, I had two mentors who taught me how to do makeup effects before I moved here, Matt Rose and Steve Wang. Legends in the industry. I was working with Steve Wang. We were in my garage, and Martin came over with our friend Chris Gallagher, right?
Chris, yeah.
And Martin came over and we met, and he was kind of pitching Steve on something.
I was trying to pitch a script.
You're trying to pitch a script to Steve.
I love it.
And we just hit it off. And then Martin and I both worked as key artists for a company years ago. And then when I broke off from that company and opened Illusion Industries, Martin came with me, and he's been my key artist and my key sculptor ever since. And it's weird because we have a lot of things in common, but our artistic style is very different. But I will say this, and I will give these props out. I've worked with a lot of sculptors over the years. There's some great sculptors out there: Mitch Devane, Miles Tevis, Steve Wang, Matt Rose. I mean, these guys were some of the top sculptors in the industry of makeup effects. I do believe, and I say this honestly, I do believe Martin is potentially one of the best sculptors in the industry.
What? I'm going to get hate mail now.
This is another breaking news.
But honestly, guys, I've seen stuff come out of him. So, I mean, you know, and his style is so kind of just weird and cool, weird, twisted stuff that when I made my first movie, Monster Mutt, Martin had done a bunch of cool sculptures of the dog. I was so in my own head that I couldn't see how good those sculptures were, and I ended up sculpting the dog myself. After I finished the movie, I looked back at some of the sculptures that Martin presented, and I was like, damn, those were better. So when I did the Terror of Hallows Eve, I literally took Martin aside and I said, dude, I'm going to let you design all this stuff. I'm not even going to tell you we'll just talk about things, but ultimately just knock it out of the park and surprise the hell out of me. And then every time I'd walk in the door and see a sculpture of a new character, it was like Christmas. So I'm very lucky to have Martin, and that's why I've held on to him for 15 something years now.
Some sweet we should sorry, Val.
Again? So there's my pitch for Martin.
But it is true. You said, because a lot of times, with special effects houses and things, a lot of the main guys, no names in particular, they don't give credit to their entire team as much as you have told me over and over again. Listen, Natalie, it's Ivonna and Natalie. It's so important for Martin to, for you to really emphasize, what a big part he is of this. And so that's really, speaks to who you are and speaks to your work.
I spent years working for somebody who took all the credit, and I took the back seat. So I ultimately, when I started my own company, I wanted to make sure there's no reason to not give credit to the guys, because you can't do it as a one-man show. And if you've got really, really talented guys, let the world know,
Right. You don't want to hold people to, yeah, 100%.
No, and I have talented people. That's why the work that comes out of Illusion Industries is always top-notch. No matter what the project is, whether it's a big studio film or whether it's a smaller project. So
I always tell people that if you have people that move on and do great things, it's really just that's what I want to see.
What?
Yeah.
Your
That's what I
team,
want to see.
We're
Your
both
team
waiting. They're
is
just, it's
everything.
their show,
A
bro.
one-man show doesn't work.
I mean, everybody.
And it just so happens that at the same time we have a question from Vintage asking who else works at Illusion Industries.
Well, so I keep a really, really small crew. Basically what happens is Martin and I, depending on what's coming in, we will get a script, we'll break it down, we'll start talking about what the effects would be, and then we interact with the director. And then depending on what the show is, both Martin and I go on different shows and either we'll create the stuff and then go on set and apply it. The good thing is we can do more than one show at a time, because I can take a show and then Martin can take a show. We can both facilitate the show and then go on set and either apply it or puppeteer it or whatever it is that we're building. So it's usually Martin, and we've got my tech Joey, who does all of our production stuff. But we bring in artists depending on the project and specific to the project. If we're going to do an old age makeup show, like we did A Dog's Journey a few years back, we brought in Miles Tevis, and Miles sculpted the faces because Miles is one of the greatest old age sculptors in the industry. And if we're going to do something, more cartoony and fun, it might be something that I sculpt. If we're going to do something that is just dark and twisted, that is Martin 100%. Which is why Leatherface came right into Martin's hands. So I bring in artists as the project comes in and depending on what we need. But we have some of the best people in the industry working. Chris Gallagher, Dalton.
We got.
How
No, just tell me.
John
How much did
Donahue.
Tony Hooper Classic from 1974 influence the effects of this movie?
There's a bunch of
I gotta
these
read
guys
that.
that are, and they go from shop to shop.
You have it on your
working
screen?
on some of the biggest shows, but ultimately, luckily, every time we've needed them, they've dropped whatever they were doing.
We've got Matt.
Jumped in. Matt Rose, Matt Rose, who unfortunately passed away, was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So we've had some great people. I've personally been very, very lucky to have these people in my building.
And I wanted to make sure, Mike, with Terror Talks, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I've been waiting patiently. I got a question. No, there's no worries.
I was actually about to cede the floor to.
Yeah, we still have a good 35 minutes, so I wasn't rushing. I got a question here from.
Hold up.
We got a question here from Andy. It says, "How much did Toby Hooper Classic from 1974 influence the effects for the shit show? Remake." Sorry, guys.
Next question.
Next question.
Next question.
Yeah, guys, you gotta please, censor those for me, please.
Moving on, thank you.
Yeah, it's censor that for me. One of the things I wanted to say was the scene with the cell phones in the bus. That actually relates to what I do because I'm a paranormal investigator and I go live at a lot of things that are actually live. And to see people making comments like, that's so fake and, where did they get this guy? Well, they're actually getting murdered is like.
Yeah, it actually would happen. Like what he's saying is when they're on the bus and all these, they pull their cell phones up and they're like, oh wow, who is this guy, right? And then on the screens of the cell phone, everybody's going, this is so cool. I want to be at this party. Are you kidding me? Look at this. So they think it's fake, and then all of a sudden, this one guy goes, beep, like bleep, and
Right.
then the killing starts.
Right.
Yeah. So it's so what Mike is saying basically, what you're saying, Mike, is that basically when you go out and you do your paranormal, you capture things.
Exactly. I'm showing I have equipment that's registering live or I have, figures that are showing up on a camera and we're showing this as like, oh my God, we're actually catching this. And, you're getting comments of, oh, that's fake and you guys are using CGI but it's not, it's real and we're in it at the moment.
Oh, interesting.
Of course, as always with everything, you're going to have people that are going to try to, blow holes in whatever it is you're doing. But, and I know too, and that, there was a lot of question as to that scene being in the movie as far as whether they wanted to have that whole cell phone thing in there, but they really felt that was a sign of the times.
It did. It really made it current because it's exactly what we go through.
Whether you like it or not, it was like Martin said, it's sign of the times of this movie.
Honest to God, listen, go to a concert and, you'll have somebody like J-Lo who's, she's in her 50s, absolutely stunning, drop dead gorgeous. But she's saying, everybody put down your phones and watch in real time. And it's not going to happen because people want to see it on their cell phones. They want to record. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But that generation is like, you know, J-Lo's generation is like, no, put down your phones. And they're like, no, we want to get it.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. You know,
Yep.
I thought about that. I was like, you know, it's a generational.
It is absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So any more questions?
Yeah, we also had Jennifer wanted to know if there was any COVID outbreaks or anything during the filming or anything on set that slowed you guys down.
Not
No,
one.
not one.
Oh, that's
No,
awesome.
there wasn't. I think we were the only production shoot in Europe that didn't have a case. In fact, I think we were the only production. There was a couple of other things shooting in Europe, and they did get hit with COVID. But yeah, we didn't have one single case. Not even.
That's great.
Again, that was
Herb.
That was Herb, the producer.
Yeah.
He really ran that. And actually, Sean Baden. He's a chap that works for Legendary. He's sort of their COVID guy, but Sean did a great job on that too.
Yeah.
But again, like it was crazy. There was every single day there were these guys coming in with these Ghostbuster backpacks and spraying everything down. Well, the chemicals that were coming into the makeup room and spraying everything down.
Oh,
these
wow.
chemicals,
No, that was when COVID first hit. They would only let you shoot for like a half hour at a time, and then you'd have to clear the set, and then they would sterilize the whole set.
No. I'm talking about like they would come into the makeup room after I've done everything, and then spray with my brushes
spray
down.
your
And like break everything.
Right.
So for the first day or two, I'd come into the makeup room the next day, and everything was soaking wet
Wet.
and this stinking chemical.
Wow.
So it was nobody was trying to do anything wrong, but nobody knew
No, of
what they were
course,
doing.
but still just the
So-
interruption of your process.
Yeah, well, that's for everything else.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
everything was trash. So,
Oh, wow.
Sean he was excellent at coming up with like strategies because there was no protocol for makeup effects.
That's right.
So we had to figure out who was touching what. It was the same for the camera department too. Like, you know, going in and touching the cameras all the time.
Yeah.
But it had to be streamlined into one particular person doing one particular thing. I'm sure it's all changed now because it seems like most different sets in different countries have different protocols. But certainly at that time, it was just insane. It was just insane. Like everyone had different zoning. Well, the zoning thing still exists, but there's no doubt that for our end, because we're touching the actors, I mean, it was they were super strict on us.
And also, we talked earlier with TCM Talk. We were talking about how David, as the director, how that must have just really creatively, he probably had to get used to that.
Slows the flow down, right? So
Yeah.
when you get into that rhythm for him, and again, I've got to give all props to David because like he came on the project, and everybody rallied around him and just got him, everything he needed to get that film made. But yeah, there was definitely times, particularly on when we were on sound stages, because obviously in a contained space, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
So to constantly have to cut every 30 minutes,
Crazy.
get everybody out, and it wasn't like two people in the room.
Start to
You know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah.
times,
The entire crew.
it was the entire, the entire crew. Again, like I mentioned earlier with the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got like a huge amount of people over that set.
Imagine trying to usher out 50 to 75 people.
Oh,
It might have added to the intensity of this,
Probably not. No. I don't think so. I think it would have just been
I was like,
frustrating.
Here,
rather
she should
than-
cut off the questions.
I was like, it might be
No,
nice.
that wasn't help.
I got it.
So I had a question on that set. Obviously, again, for what I do, paranormal stuff. Was there anything ever on set that couldn't be explained? Anybody, anything like that?
Any paranormal activity?
Any paranormal activity? Any weirdness?
Spirits of
no,
thunder?
the studios were shot were super old though. I mean, they were not that I recall. No.
No, nothing.
I don't think so. No.
What would you guys even have had the time, I mean,
Well, actually, what's weird, it was quite isolated because everyone's working very separate, and there was a lot of sound stages at this studio, and a lot of long corridors, and it was pretty isolated because nobody could be together,
Right.
So you were kind of, certainly for myself, I had a few rooms, but I was on my own on an isolated part of the studio.
Right.
I very kind of rarely met people. Mark was obviously, he had his dressing room near to the makeup room.
Mhm.
But him and me were pretty much the only people in that part of the building. So, it was a pretty isolated experience on that level. But nothing ever really happened there that was untoward or weird or,
Right. right.
Now, we had all kinds of demons flying around the studio here, but they were fine.
Yeah, right.
That's on a normal basis.
Yeah, that's just,
Okay.
that's the
That's
average.
just normal.
Todd, earlier on the first show, you had mentioned you were going to be somewhere and people could come out and check you out. Could you say that again for the post show here?
Oh, yeah. So we will be at Monsterpalooza in June. I believe it is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of June. And we're going to have a full Leatherface display. I'm going to be there. I'm going to see if I can drag Martin there.
Too many people.
Too many people.
Yeah, I
but
feel
I'll be
you.
there, and definitely would love for people to come up and say hello and take a photo with Leatherface.
And Ivonna, you're going to be hosting that or moderating?
Actually, yeah, I'm actually going to be moderating the entire event, which is going to be great. So I'll be introducing the moderators for a lot of the panels that already have moderators, but then I'll be moderating a couple of panels for Elliot. And Elliot is the founder of Monsterpalooza. So, great guy. You know, this Monsterpalooza is, in my opinion, like Monsterpalooza is a place that you can go and you'll find some of the best directors, producers just walking around, you know, unbeknownst to a lot of the people. Like you're going to find some of the biggest names there, you know, with like hoodies and things on like that, because it's so, you know, it's so true. It's the best horror convention in my opinion.
It's also at the Pasadena Convention Center, so it's a big open space.
That was going to be my next question. Where was it?
Yeah,
So, okay.
yeah, it's going to be. I mean, if you're concerned, you know, about anything COVID, it is the biggest space that they have these conventions at. So it's not quite as compact, so it's a little bit more comfortable to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Elliot, the owner of Monsterpalooza, the founder.
They already said.
He explained it to me that he was a kid that loved this, you know, so it was kind of like you
He's
guys.
a fan.
Yeah, it's kind of like you guys, and he said he wanted to bring what you guys brought, but in this type of a form, to be able to share it with all the fans. So that's why he gets some of the biggest directors and producers, you know.
He's also a really, really down to earth guy. Like he's very non-Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's just a real chill guy. So he's got a lot of people that want to help him out. He's
Yeah,
a good person.
good guy.
Yeah, him and his son.
Yeah, he does all.
Yeah, I
We
wanted
got,
to.
we got a couple
Okay.
of quick questions coming in, just real quick. Just asking, was Bulgaria always the choice for filming? And if so, why? And was there a reason to shoot there and not in America?
Yeah, it was always the choice to shoot there. I can't comment on the politics why. I mean, I don't know. I mean, personally, maybe it may be cheaper to shoot Bulgaria than Texas now. This business is so strange. It always comes down to tax incentives, and you got to look at crew rates and union deals, and there's so much infrastructure with the politics of making a film now. I mean, and frankly, with technology, you can shoot anywhere now.
They did build that entire town in Bulgaria, which is, the sets are still there. So I'm guessing they probably built that knowing that they would use it for multiple purposes. So, it maybe was an investment in building the sets for other things, maybe.
Don't know.
Don't know.
But also, like, I would say this though, like the amount of blood and carnage that really did occur on that set, I'm not entirely sure how that would have happened on location. I mean, thinking about it, there was so much contained, so many of those scenes were contained, and when you did it go from a street set into a soundstage, back onto a street, back onto a soundstage. I don't know, like if you on location, that's a big move for production, so I'm not entirely sure, whether it would have been advantageous to have shot in Texas and then done a big, 3-hour production move to go back to a soundstage and then go back out again on location. This was all in one space, and the producers were very smart. They figured that to self-contain everything like this would have been a good way to go.
The other thing too that might have been played into this, I don't know this for sure, but the other thing too is that you have all the unions here. They don't have the unions like that over in the Bulgaria, and the unions, everyone had stopped. There was no productions, for the most part going on. So I don't know that they could have shot in Texas even if they had planned on it at that point. So
You saying because of COVID?
yeah,
I think they were building the set for COVID.
so
I don't know.
yeah, I think they were building the sets because they wanted the sets.
There's a tremendous amount of production in Bulgaria.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, a tremendous amount.
Yeah,
So
they were shooting there for years.
It's like a key place to shoot.
Yeah.
there's a lot of great films coming out now. Even I didn't realize how much was coming out there. And I have to say this again, the crew out there are fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hardworking. I mean, they're committed to the art of filmmaking. And nobody there was nothing short of an expert.
Yeah.
Whether it was set builders, wardrobe, props, and the stunt team. Those stunt guys were amazing on that film. They really were.
Yeah. Nice. And George, any questions?
Jay Dredula was basically confirming what was saying just now, saying, yep, like a 10% tax and a 25% rebate, something like that is cheaper there.
Yeah. So just the reality of business.
Yeah. I think we were a little quiet on that one, but
Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is.
yeah.
Yep. Mike, what do we have over on your end?
Guys, we got a couple people wondering what you guys got coming up next. You got any projects you're going to work on next or anything in the works?
So we recently filmed another film for Netflix where we created 26 creature characters for a film that'll be coming out this Halloween, I believe.
Okay.
Which was a lot of fun. We shot that in Atlanta, and I actually got to play 2 of the creatures myself, and then try to oversee 24 other characters at the same time.
That's a really easy job.
Yeah, right. And then we did a commercial for Florida where we created a number of puppets. We did a really fun dog, a stuffed dog that kind of like a Something About Mary dog gag for another movie where they had a dog that was just being thrown all over the place, and they needed this.
Gotcha.
Not funny.
But we have a bunch of projects that we're budgeting right now and bidding on, and also development projects. And then I am trying to move forward on our next in-house project that I'm going to be writing and directing.
Great. Fantastic. Ivonna, everybody's kind of asking what you do. You want to tell us a little bit? You said, I'll introduce myself. My name's Ivonna Cadaver, but you didn't go into what you do. So.
Oh, I didn't know. I'll tell you what happened. I mean, on the real. When I got in here a little late. I got in here when Martin got in here. Seriously. We all got in a little late. Todd was right on time.
Right.
But so anyway, I came running in here and I literally tripped and fell over the stairs. And,
Okay.
No joke. And so I had to
Are you a
get it.
stunt woman?
I am. That's what I do.
Today.
Yeah, today. Yeah. So anyway, I came in here and I quickly changed and I came on, and when I did the introduction, I wasn't quite myself. You know what I mean? But I am Natalie Popovich, aka Ivonna Cadaver. I host a television series called Macabre Theater, and we host independent horror films as well as the classics. Butch Patrick, aka Eddie Munster, has done about 36 shows with me, and I've done in total about 63 shows. The last show that I did was an hour special featuring Todd Tucker's The Terror of Hallows Eve, and that was a lot of fun. And that was right before the pandemic. That was
Halloween before.
Yeah, the Halloween before. So and what's interesting is that somebody asked was asking you guys how you knew how you got into this business, and the Terror of Hallows Eve is really a true story of how Todd got into this business. It's it, right?
Yeah. The first half hour is.
Yeah, the first half. I mean, it's fiction, nonfiction, but there's a lot of it. A lot of the Terror of Hallows Eve is him as a kid, and it's telling the story of and his desire to do this. Or you could have been a rock star, right?
That'd be okay. That'd be all right.
I've actually gotten to see Terror of Hallows Eve thanks to Macabre Theater. It's finally got my Roku and everything set up in my office, so I got to actually take the time to watch it. I saw that it was there. I started watching. I really enjoyed it. Really, and I'm not just saying that because you're right here.
Are you sure about that now?
Come on, George.
But I gotta say, that marionette scene just floored me. I absolutely love that scene. I gotta know, how long did it take to film that? Because it looked like there was so much that went into that scene alone.
Well, we filmed that whole scene in, I think, a day, actually. But we did a lot of we shot the scene and then we green screen and shot the puppets and digitally put them into the scene. So there's some really nice CG interaction in there, and you really can't tell. It looks like they're really in the shot, but we were very careful about doing that. But I have to be honest with you, when I shot that scene, at the end of the day, I was just thinking about everything that we had shot, and I was like, oh my God, when I edit this, I really hope this doesn't come off comical. I don't know if this is going to be scary or if it's going to be funny. And when I premiered the film at Sitges in Spain, they sold out the theater. They turned away 500 people, and they had people sitting in the aisles. Clearly, no fire, no escape, nothing. Most of the people there didn't even speak English, and I was worried that because the first half hour of it's kind of a setup and it's all back and forth dialogue, and I was like, oh my God, these people are going to lose their mind because there's no real horror in the first half hour. When they came to that puppet scene at the end of it, everyone got up and was cheering.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh my God, thank God, because I had no idea if that scene was going to actually work or not. But that's the one scene that everyone kind of pulls out of it.
It's kind of
It actually kind of reminded me of Philip's death from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yes.
How like very much like that sort of style. How it just like kind of starts off as one thing and then it becomes something completely, just something like completely out of the ordinary.
Here's something really, really cool. The kid that the puppets kill,
Yeah.
that's his son.
No kidding. That's
Yep.
awesome. That
That's
is
his
awesome. I
actual
love
son.
that.
Yep.
I love that.
I saw his dad at a convention, and I got to be honest with you. When I found out that he was your son, knowing that you were killed by puppets in number 3, I think it's really cool that we're killing your son with puppets. And he goes, "Yeah, I guess so."
It's like, I guess it runs in the family. I don't know. But
Yeah, right.
I was going to make a comment.
Yeah.
I was going to make a comment and say, so, because you and I have talked about that scene, that scene for me was like amazing in the movie, right? And you were like, yeah, like the first time we talked about it, you were like, yeah, I didn't know about that scene. So it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. The scene's going to be the bus scene. I think in your movie, when those puppets cut the string, that's it. So it was just a really good scene.
Yeah, and the funny thing is all the puppets from The Terror are staring at us right now on the other side of this camera.
And I wanted to go back to something else too. Mike had asked a question. What do we plan on doing? So with Macabre Theater, and yes, I did not say who I was because I again came in here and ran in here and tripped and fell, and my suitcase went everywhere. So that was a lot of fun. But Martin goes, no. Yeah, my back's a little tweaked, but I'm all right. I'll be all right. But I wanted to say that Mike from Terror Talks, I'm going to be going to New Jersey, and I'm going to go on some ghost hunting paranormal with him, and I'm going to get my hands dirty with this. So we're going to actually get together and do some pretty, I hope, some pretty gnarly ghost hunting. And get some things, and we're going to put that on Macabre Theater, which I think is going to be really more of a real element to Macabre Theater. So it was where we were hosting independent movies. We've done that, and we hosted all the classics. Not Nightmare on Elm Street. I was going to say Roger Corman's Night of the Living Dead. Hello, all those kind of older movies, and we've done some independent movies. We showcased Todd's, which in my opinion was the best movie we did to date. But that was right before the pandemic. But I'm gonna get with Mikey B. That's what I call him. He's gonna kill me for that one. And we are gonna do some paranormal hunting and put it on the shelf.
Yeah,
Mike,
we've got some.
I don't know if you've gone there or not, but both Martin and I had to move to Louisiana for like 4 or 5 months to work on G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Okay.
And while I was there, I went up to Shreveport, Louisiana, and I don't believe in. I mean, I've never experienced anything with a ghost necessarily.
Okay.
So I'm not like somebody that's gonna go out there and say
Gotcha.
seen stuff. But I saw stuff in Shreveport that you should have filmed.
Wow. Yeah, no, I've never been out there, but
You might
put it on
wanna go there,
put it on the list to
I
go.
I caught stuff by accident and looked at it on the back end and went, "Oh, what the hell?" So Shreveport's a good place to go.
It's intense. And
Wow.
Even Dean Carr.
Yeah.
Dean Carr, he did a documentary on actual families in Louisiana that do this like haunted house.
Uh-huh.
And but they're, I'm not even gonna say. I mean, it's the real deal.
Louisiana's got some pretty great stuff. If you need footage, you could probably get quite a bit there.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to plan something. Let's go, Ivonna.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
You
You know
me.
that? No, you're not. We go to we have some really good ones set up for her. So we're in the, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta chime in real quick because I am a fan of G.I. Joe Retaliation. So I'm really glad you guys, worked on that too. Cause I had a blast with that. I remember sitting there in the theater just saying like, this is so much of this is like what I grew up on. So between the show and the comics and everything, like seeing that all come to life. The fact that you guys worked on that, kudos. So thank you guys.
To be honest with you, actually, that was also a movie through Herb Gaines, who brought us onto the Texas Chainsaw. He brought us. We had worked with Herb on The Watchmen before I opened up my own company with another company, and then he brought us on G.I. Joe, and Martin and I both had to move to Louisiana and open up a studio there because he wanted us there for the build, and it was great. It was a great experience. It was really fun working on that.
And that speaks to, it's a very small industry within an industry. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, in the effects industry,
yeah.
everyone pretty much knows who everyone is. So you want to try to keep a clean slate because people can talk very quickly. But
It's a lot of egos.
a lot of
A lot
egos.
of egos in the room.
Showbiz.
But it's
Showbiz.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what? If I sit with somebody who's an English accent, it's just gonna happen.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Mark.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
He's being
He's like,
by 7 o'clock.
would you stop that?
We were taking bets before whether it was English or Australian.
It's all English, baby. And it's real, by the way, too. It's not-
Where is it? Is like Manchester? Or,
My accent?
yeah.
It's south of England, it's Kent. So it's basically like just a little bit southeast of London.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
best bit.
Although Martin is
Yeah.
really good at doing an American accent.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not. So it's not London.
I'm pretty south.
Yeah. But
He sounds like John Wayne though when he does an
Deal.
American accent. Everything falls flat.
Well, it's a big deal to say northern or southern.
Yeah, we don't get on.
They don't.
Uh-uh.
No.
No, not at
Lots
all.
of problems.
They're just mad.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
We got another quick question here from First Class Horrors asking, what was the process around creating your own version of such an established and iconic character?
For Leatherface?
For Leatherface, yeah.
Yeah.
Repeat the question.
What was the process around creating your own version of such an iconic character?
So, I'll tell you, that always, no matter what the project is, it all starts with the script. So, just from my end, it's very easy just to jump into what you think something should look like. And you can get great designs. There's been some amazing designs in films over the last, 30, 40 years that are amazing, but they don't necessarily connect to the source material. You've really got to look at a script, try to, again, extrapolate what is making that script work. A good character design, I think, always stems from taking yourself out of the script and requiring to make something that suits what the story needs. So in other words, like for Leatherface, in the very first draft that we read, there was an odd sense of, again, we said the word tragedy, but there was a sense, I just got a sense of sorrowfulness from the story. And it really began with trying to put a little bit of that into the mask.